Okay. Is this actually gonna work? Is this actually gonna work? So this is kind of a test. It says I'm streaming to 4 different places. Let me see if that's true. YouTube.com/Vito. I'm actually streaming to 4 different destinations. There's one. So I'm definitely streaming there. Okay. Kind of a test. YouTube.com/ Can I stream to 2 different YouTube channels at the same time? Oh my god, I can. Okay. Twitch. And then I also streaming to Twitch. Twitch.tv/me. If I'm actually streaming to 4 different places at the same time, that's pretty incredible. It says I am. I know what's the last one. What's my Kick channel? Kick.com/Vito. Oh man, I think it's working. Although the chat's not working. Okay, hold on. Oh, why is the chat not working? Oh, I gotta reboot it. I gotta reboot it. Alright. Well, how do I reboot it? Settings. Apply command Discord filtering about. That one. Yeah. Oh my god. How's it going, everybody? It's your favorite VTuber, Vito Chan here. Let's take a look here over on Kick. Love your content. What the hell? That's a fake person. Did I remember? Oh, I forgot to stream on my Chatabate. Guys, don't forget to join my OnlyFans. Vito Chan's OnlyFans. And welcome back to the exciting magical world of Final Fantasy. Fuck the fucking debate. I could live stream the debate, and I'm not going to. Should I put the debate on it? You know what? Let's put the debate on in the corner. Fuck it. Let's listen to a bunch of goofball president morons. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get it in a window here. Hey! Where's the debate? Is the debate started already? Somebody told me that JD Vance is not being funny. That he's being a dork. Debate. Ooh, the Daily Wire is host. Oh, the backstage Daily Wire. Is it over or no? Did it already happen? Why is everybody... Oh, it starts in 3 minutes. Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys gonna vote yes on prop, whatever the fuck?
I think you guys are right. We've made a lot of these points to this point. One other point that I would just add to this conversation is, remember how this whole campaign started where age was the big issue? Joe Biden was going to be 86.
Am I gonna get flagged if I watch?
Term. Right now, Donald Trump.
I probably get flagged if it's not the actual debate yet.
His age means there's a little bit unique.
Hold on here. Everybody calm down, everybody. Oh, my plugin doesn't work no more? My plugin that full screens things is broken? Hold on. How's everybody doing? Alright, whatever. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Can I put it in a window? Can I put it in a window? Theater mode. There we go. A little bit of theater mode.
There's a vice presidential debate matter in the big.
It's a vice presidential debate.
2012 when
too many women on the. Too many women here. Hold on.
And really helped to reset the campaign after former President Obama stumbled in his first debate against Mitt Romney. So yes, they can matter. Again, I think this takes on outsized meaning because of the fact that there's no second presidential debate. One more point: in listening to those voters that Kate was talking to, all of them seem so frustrated with the process.
Oh wait, what is that? Can I get rid of client area?
Right now, Vice President
okay.
Wins on the change argument by 9 points. I think that's part of the work that JD Vance is going to try to do.
Well, change is interesting because she's an incumbent, but so is former President Trump.
That's right.
So it's interesting to see that. I mean, people say, they like to say conventional wisdom. These
Conventional
vice presidential
wisdom.
debates don't
Can you
matter.
guys hear
And
this
maybe they did
nonsense?
when elections weren't decided by 10,000 voters
That's
in a
exactly
Midwest
right.
state.
In 2 different states.
Why is it all
Something that
fucking
you have
ladies
said from
talking
the
about
jump,
shit? Who
Savannah,
cares?
through this election cycle, which is, let's have a little bit of humility here, right? It's hard for us to predict, especially with the race this close, especially with the dynamic of no next debate for the presidential candidates. Remember what this race is going to come down to. Those 6 critical battlegrounds, the economy and immigration. We have seen that consistently in the polling. Expect to hear those.
How does anyone... Okay, let me put it this way. I'm like an adult, right? I'm an adult. Adults are the ones that are supposed to be watching. The only people who watch the news are like 70 years old. I mean, my cousin Vito's an adult. Vito Chan is not. I'm a 17-year-old girl. Of course, none of this political shit interests me. But, like, who can watch these fucking people talk about politics? It's the stupidest thing in the world. Debate countdown. Debate. Somebody tell me when the debate starts. It's exhausting, these people. All right. Well, guys, welcome back to the magical world of Final Fantasy. Doodly-doo-doo. There we go. There should be titties during the debate. Whoever loses doesn't get no titties. So I was doing a chocobo quest, and then I fucked up the fucking chocobo quest. So now I gotta figure out. You want Vito Chan to be 18? Sorry, buddy. Not gonna happen. If you got feelings for Vito Chan, you gotta think about why. For you, Pro Last Media, for you, I'm 12. Deal with it. Oh, hey, I found the little Moogly house. Hey, let's see some Mooglies here. Enter the Moogle stool. Give me the normal. I'm not no bitch. How's everybody doing tonight? How is this debate not started? It's just ladies yapping about garbage. I'm gonna bring back the Mooglies. All right, hold on. I'll bring back the Mooglies in a second. I gotta cut this down a little bit. Nobody cares about the debate. Only thing we care about is Mooglies. We gotta get all the Mooglies. Oh, I didn't tweet that I went live. I should do that. Catch all the Mooglies here, folks. Watching the debate and catching Mooglies. I'm gonna advertise my stream here. All right. Oh, and one last thing. I just gotta link it. I gotta link the stream to my good boys on Discord. I know they want it. YouTube.com/me. So I never know if I should stream video games on my main channel or on my second channel, but I guess we're gonna find out. All right. Where's my Discord? The debate start. Oh shit, it's starting. Oh shit.
Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding
Wait,
crises.
did it
the
start?
Middle East is on the brink of war.
What?
Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene. And now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas
are they asking the
picketing.
questions?
We're going to begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora.
Okay, that is them.
Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but that attack failed, thanks to joint U.S. and Israeli defensive action.
Good work, everybody.
President
We
Biden
saved the
has
Israelis.
deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region over the past year to try to prevent a regional war. Iran is weakened, but the U.S. still considers it the largest
I should stream on the biggest problem channel. Who cares?
Nothing
matters.
It has drastically reduced the time it would
All right,
take to
last
develop
thing I
a
gotta do,
nuclear
I gotta
weapon. It is down
bang it
now
out on
to
Discord.
1 or 2 weeks' time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the situation,
It keeps freezing the thing.
would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran?
Don't you love that this is the future
Well,
of
thank you,
media?
and thank you for those joining at home tonight.
I hate to interrupt this guy, but you got a fat man pretending to be a little Japanese girl playing Japanese video games as the guy talks about bombing Iran of Israel. Domain, what is this?
To be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental.
Get those
and
hostages.
Ending the humanitarian crisis.
Get them
Gaza.
prices.
But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the
I can't open
there.
Discord.
You saw it experienced today.
Oh, there it is.
Along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago. A nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House.
So moronic.
Now, the person closest to them,
let's catch Moogleys!
Said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance.
That was Senator Vance said that.
Out of Vice President Harris.
I already took a hit.
Steady leadership.
I already took a hit.
We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the vice president said today we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
Governor, your time is up.
God, this is already the most boring fucking thing in the world. Vito, you and Riley come to the cabin and wrestle in a pool of jello. Loser takes a shot of mince piss.
So, Margaret,
you guys have fun at the cabin with Riley. Have a real good time.
Thanks to CBS for hosting the debate, and thanks most importantly to the American
I think you guys are going to have a great fucking time.
And caring enough about this country to pay attention to this vice presidential debate.
I got two of them.
But I want to actually give an introduction to myself.
J.D. Vance could not get any Mooglies, and I don't think Waltz could get any. Actually, J.D. Vance would have a better chance of getting Mooglies than Walls. I bet J.D. Vance could get 2 Mooglies.
To raise me, and she raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to
Why are they talking about it? I thought they were talking about Israel 2 seconds ago.
And served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for me to live my dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos in the world and the feeling that the American dream is unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight.
What the fuck does the American dream have to do with Israel?
Better leadership in the White House.
That's why these debates are retarded. They go like, what do you think about immigration? And they go, oh, I hate those drugs. Like, something completely unrelated.
As much as Governor Waltz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually...
Like, what are you going to do about Russia? And then they go like, we need to build more boats.
Deterrence. People were afraid
for crippled kids who don't got boats.
Iran, which launched this attack, has received
J.D. Vance being a Magic fan. I got to be real. I would hang out with J.D. Vance.
Thanks to the Kamala Harris
I would hang out with J.D. Vance all day.
They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our allies, and God forbid, potentially launching against.
I only got to get one more Moogly. I only got to get one more, but if I get hit one more time, I lose.
To fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got out of line, the United States.
Oh, he's saying if Trump was in charge, the Iranians wouldn't fuck
you asked
around.
About a preemptive strike, Margaret, and I want to answer the question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support.
Eating contest between Tim Walz and Vito. I would lose right now because Vito Chan's just a tiny little girl. I can't eat as much as I used to.
Walz, do you care to respond to any of the?
I can't eat as many cannolis as I used to shove down my fucking gullet.
Hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in. The inability
sell me
to
some
advance
Moogly
it.
shit.
Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So
shit.
Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership. And when Iran shot down an American aircraft in international airspace,
is empowerment material?
Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy of Donald Trump.
Cool.
And when Iranian missiles did fall near U.S. troops and they received traumatic brain injuries, Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand that Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or where it makes sense to him. Steady leadership like you witnessed today, like you witnessed in April. Both Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Oh, these guys are the ones who sell. This is how I get ethers.
The US did have
I've been
a
like, how do I get
diplomatic
fucking
deal
ethers?
with Iran to temporarily pause parts of its nuclear program, and
I'll take, like,
President
10 of
Trump did
these.
exit that deal. He recently said.
Oh, dude, everybody
just 5
says this is the
days
creepiest
ago, the
move.
US must
Japanese
now
people have
make
been like
a
freaked out by
diplomatic
this
deal
little
with
guy.
Iran because the consequences
They're like, what
are
the fuck is
impossible.
that?
Did he make
It's
a mistake? You have
horrifying.
1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump, who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years.
Oh,
and the answer is your running mate, not mine.
Kamala gave
Donald
the
Trump
nuclear
consistently
weapons.
made the world
How does anyone
more
watch
secure.
this shit?
Now,
Why
we
am I
talk about
watching this shit?
The sequence of events
Ugh.
led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize Donald Trump's tweets, but effective, smart diplomacy and peace through strength is how you bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home, when was the last time, I'm 40 years old, when was the last time that an American president didn't have a major conflict break out? The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
Wow.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. Nora?
Margaret, thank you.
We have a lot to
Let's
get
turn now
to,
to
gentlemen.
Hurricane Helene. The storm could become one of the deadliest on record. More than 160 people are dead and hundreds
I guess I
more
do
are
need
missing.
fucking biggest problem materials.
Scientists
I gotta
say
listen to
climate
this
change
fucking
makes
shit.
these hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of
Some
the
have said
historic
these hurricanes
rainfall.
are harder,
Senator
better,
Vance,
faster,
according to
and
CBS
stronger
News
than
poll,
ever
7
before.
in 10
What's up,
Americans
Bunk?
And more than 60%
Bunk, I hate to tell you
Republicans
this.
under the age of
I went on the
45
McDonald's app
favor
the other
US
day.
taking steps to try and reduce climate
$3.49 for a
Senator,
McDouble.
what responsibility
$3
would the Trump
and
administration have to
49 cents
try
for
and
McDouble.
reduce
Let's talk about
the
that on the
impact
vice
of
presidential
climate change?
stage.
I'll give you 2
JD
minutes.
Walls, what are
So
you gonna
first of
do
all,
about the
let's start
fucking
with
price
the
of a
hurricane,
McDouble?
because it's an unbelievable,
Surgery for 5,
unspeakable
imagine
human
having to
tragedy.
beep when
I
you
just
make an
saw
argument.
today,
They chuck
actually,
dicks in my ass.
photograph
No one wants
of
it.
2 grandparents on
I
a
don't
roof
want
with a
this.
6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever
Don't
taken.
forget,
of them
guys, if you
because
want
the
your
roof
thing to
collapsed,
pop up on the
and
stream,
those
you gotta
innocent
use
people lost their
Streamlabs. I gotta
lives.
make a little
I'm sure
banner
Governor
that
Walz
tells people
joins
to use
me in
Streamlabs.
saying our hearts go out to those innocent people. Our prayers go out to them.
Although
And one is
$3.40 for one
robust and aggressive
McDouble,
as a
you can get
federal
2 for
response as we
2
can
for
get to
4.
save as many
So that's how
lives
they
as
get
possible.
you.
And then, of course, afterwards,
2
to
for
help the
4.
people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them
We
I
gotta
know very
fight
personally.
somebody.
In Appalachia, all across the Southeast, they need their
All right, here's the
government to do
problem.
their
I look
job,
like a
and
normal,
commit
beautiful high school
that
girl when I
Donald
look to the
Trump is
front. When I look off to
president
the
again, the government
side,
will put the
my
citizens of
eyes
this
are like
country first when
fucking
they suffer
weird,
from
and my mouth
disaster.
stops
Nora,
moving,
you asked
and then I
about
get
climate
frozen.
change. I think this is a very
So,
important issue. Look,
I need a new.
lot of people
I think
are
we need a new
justifiably
Vito.
worried
I think we
about
need
these
to
crazy
update
weather patterns.
the
I think
Vito
it's
Chan
important for us, first of
design.
all,
We
to
should have
say
a contest.
Donald Trump and I support clean air,
We
clean
should have a
water.
Vito
We
Chan
want the
design
environment to be
contest.
cleaner and safer. But one of the things that I've noticed.
Yeah, I seen that $6 meal. That meal's pretty good. I think I ended up getting that actually.
Carbon emissions. This idea that carbon emissions drives.
Oh no, I tried to get the
change.
meal, and they said you
Let's
can't
just
get the
say
meal
that's true.
anymore.
Just for the
So I don't know
sake
what the
of
fuck
argument,
that
so
was
we're not
about.
arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true.
Wait, why
But
does
if
Aerith
you
have no
believe that,
fucking
what would you-
MPs?
What would you want to do? The answer is that you
Aerith,
want
you
to
need
reshore as
MPs.
much American manufacturing
You
as
dumb
possible,
bitch.
and you'd want
Holy
to produce
Lord.
as much energy as possible in the
Why
United
does Aerith
States of
have no
America,
MPs?
Because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world. What have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas,
China.
more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean
Dirty?
the amount of carbon emissions they're
You
doing
can't
per
say
unit of
dirty
output.
about those
So if we
people. That's
actually
very
care about
racist.
getting cleaner air and cleaner
Why are they
water,
dirty,
the best
JD
thing to
Vance?
do
What do you
is
mean
to
they're
double down
dirty?
and invest in American workers and the American people.
Those
And
filthy
unfortunately,
brown,
Kamala
those
Harris
filthy
has done
brown
exactly
people
the
that are
opposite.
causing trouble for you.
Governor
You can
Walz,
say
you
it
have
if you
2
want
minutes
to.
to
You should
respond.
We
say
got
it.
close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all, it is a horrific tragedy with this hurricane, and my heart goes out to the folks that are down there in contact with the governors. I serve as co-chair of the Council of Governors as we work together on these emergency managements. Governors know no partisanship. They
Stagger
work
it.
together
Why
to
the fuck
solve
is it
the
not
governors
staggered?
and the emergency responders are on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there to that we recover, but we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying there, staying
Wait, hailing
focused.
them with
Now, look,
powerful
coming back to the
offensive
climate change
images.
issue, there's no doubt this
Okay.
thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen.
Now.
Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past.
There we
Donald
go, he's
Trump called
pressured.
it a
Okay.
hoax. and then joke
You gotta do all
that these
three
things
things.
would make more beachfront property.
Make double on me. Thanks, Cardinal. Now we can get
We've
two of
seen
them.
out of the Harris administration,
Maybe.
now, the Biden
Get
Harris
to 1.5.
administration, we've seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest in global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act. Has created jobs all across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV technology that we invented and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country. The largest solar manufacturing plant in North America sits in Minnesota. But my farmers know climate change is real. They've seen 500-year droughts, 500-year floods back to back. But what they're doing is adapting.
500-year? What?
Look, I harvest.
What do you mean
corn,
500-year
soybean,
floods?
I harvest wind. We are producing more natural gas and more oil at any time than we ever have. We're also producing more clean energy. So the solution for us is to continue to move forward, that climate change is real.
I think they both
Reducing
sound like
our
fucking
impact is
goobers,
absolutely
though.
critical.
All this debate
But
shit is
not a
goober
false choice.
time.
You can do that at the same time you're creating the jobs that we're seeing all across the country. That's exactly what this administration has done. We are seeing us becoming an energy superpower for the future, not just the current. And that's what absolutely makes sense. And then we start thinking about
Talk about how much money you're going to give me. That's the only thing that's going to get my
Senator,
vote.
I want to give you an opportunity
I want free
to respond
money.
there. The governor mentioned that President Trump has called climate change a hoax. Do you agree?
Well, look, what the president has said is that if the Democrats, in particular Kamala Harris and her leadership, if they really believe that climate change is serious, what they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly, Kamala Harris herself doesn't believe
giving too much business to China.
She would actually agree with Donald Trump's energy policy.
See, this is why I can't go. This is why
I think is important to touch
look,
upon,
I get it, but
clean energy,
man, I fucking love China. I love enslaving little Chinese people to make my little. You know what showed up in my door today?
The real issue is that if you're
you know what showed up in my door today from China? $500 super killer yo-yos. 500.
You're going to make the economy.
You know what it cost me to make them? Fucking nothing.
Here in the United States of America, some of them are, Tim, but a lot of them are being made overseas in China, especially the components.
I want to make everything in China.
So if you really want to make the environment cleaner, you've
fuck the environment. Give all my money to China.
A nuclear facility, I think, one in the past 40 years. Natural gas.
The only way I can make money anymore is by making shit in China.
The opposite. That's raised energy prices and also
he's going long. He's going long.
Would you like to respond?
Well, look, we're producing more natural gas than we ever have. There's no moratorium on that. We're producing more oil. But
which one of you guys is gonna fucking unban flavored vapes?
These are not liberal folks.
Trump
these are
banned
vaping. Green
vaping.
New Deal folks. These are farmers.
That's bullshit.
That have been
I forgot about that.
1 year.
Yo, tell Trump he's got to unban flavored vapes.
It makes sense. Look, our number
all right, because me and all the other girls in my Japanese high school, which you would think American vaping laws would not apply to Japan, but you'd be surprised. We were all having fun smoking our fucking candy cigarettes and our cotton candy flavored vapes. And Trump came along and he took them away because Trump did it. All the Japanese people said they did the same thing.
How do we make sure that we're
I want my vapes back, Trump.
We make sure that we're protecting lakefronts and things.
What about that environmental impact? Yeah, I want a mango jewel pod.
The oil company
I want my jewel.
Say, give me money for my campaign, and I'll let you do whatever you want.
I am going to buy one of those Trump watches, though. $100,000 bargain. Bargain.
Getting those jobs right here.
$100,000 Trump watch.
The overwhelming consensus among scientists is that the Earth's climate is warming at an unprecedented rate.
Thank you, Nora. We're going to turn now to immigration. The crisis at the U.S.-Mexico
The fuck man over on Twitch is losing his mind. Well, welcome to the only debate stream that matters, baby.
Voters. Senator Vance, your campaign is
all right, time to
carry
play
out
Triangle
the
Jammer. I'm real good at this
deportation
game.
plan
Watch.
in American history, and to
Triangle.
use the US military
Triangle.
to do so. Could you be more specific
Triangle.
about exactly how this will work?
Triangle.
For example,
fucking nailed
will
it.
you deport parents who have entered the U.S. illegally and separate them from any of their children who were born on
Am I almost
US
done with
soil?
this game? I
You have 2
actually
minutes.
went back
So first of all,
to.
Margaret, before we
I'm
talk
being
about
retarded.
deportations, we have to stop.
Basically, I'm on the
We
last
have a
chapter of the game, and I've
historic
decided to go back
immigration
and do all these
crisis
quests
because
I
Kamala
forgot to do.
started
I
and
completely
said
skipped
that
this
she wanted
area
to undo
somehow.
all of Donald Trump's border policies.
Yeah, you can see the
94 executive
fucking.
orders suspending deportations, decriminalizing.
See how this one 5 out of 5, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4. That means I did all the things. This one I'm missing one thing.
That has opened the floodgates. and what it's meant.
I'm
is that
100%ing this game for no reason.
I had a mother who struggled with opioid addiction, and
this motherfucker will not stop talking about his mom doing drugs.
Addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl.
Nobody made your mom do fentanyl, JD Vance.
Stop the bleeding. You've got to.
And we need to bring in more fentanyl and give it all them homeless, because those motherfuckers will not die.
That gets me to your point, Margaret.
The homeless in this country live forever unless you give them drugs.
25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is we start
chuck
with
them off a cliff.
About
right?
1 million of those people have committed some form of crime in addition to
I'm a legal immigrant. I was born in America. No, I never had a Trump steak.
And then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens.
It's just those mail order fucking steaks. It's just that what are the
people will go home if they can't.
They still sell those,
than minimum wage,
but they're not Trump steaks.
And by the way, that'll be really good
what
for
is it, Omaha steaks?
Earn a fair wage.
They just pack them in dry ice and send them to your house. Who gives it? Just go to a fucking butcher.
Right now,
you don't need to mail order a steak. Doesn't make no sense.
320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost.
Oh!
Sex trafficking. Some of them.
Oh, he's bringing up the pedophiles.
Some of them.
Where'd the kids go? Where'd the kids go, Walls? Where'd the kids go?
Unfortunately, Kamala Harris's wide open southern border. And I'd ask my fellow
Walls knows the game. You want to get a couple free votes? You go, and maybe some of those kids are in the tunnels under New York. Maybe Hillary Clinton's drinking their blood. I don't fucking know.
It would be good for all of us.
Governor, do you care to respond
to
any
any dude, Final Fantasy, they did not need to add all this bullshit, and I don't need to be doing all this bullshit. I literally feel like a retarded child doing all this fetch quest bullshit, but in for a penny, in for a pound, already did like half the areas before realizing every area was going to be like this. I'm like, wow, might as well 100% it now.
Opioid deaths in our nation's history. 30% decrease in Ohio, but there's still more work to do. But let's go back to this on
no, more opioid deaths. Who cares? Let those junkies kill themselves. I don't care.
California. She's the only person in this race who prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and
trans gangs. That's not progressive. Let the
leave
the trans gangs alone, Tim Walz.
And that is the United
States.
I did
see the Prime Minister dressed as Boo. That was fun.
That's the Chamber of
we
Commerce.
need more
that's
fun. Ooh, I gotta follow this little baby chocobo.
The fairest and the toughest bill
on
immigration that this nation's seen. It was crafted by a conservative
little baby chocobo. Gonna show me a chocobo bus stop.
But he's a man of principle. Wants to get it done.
Chocobo
Democrats and Republicans worked on this piece of legislation. The Border Patrol said,
"Please beat this game so you can play something good." I'm almost done.
Chamber of Commerce and the
Wall Street Journal
said,
I'll be done with this
Kamala
game
Harris
soon.
helped get there. 1,500 new border agents.
I'll probably go back and try to finish Elden Ring after I beat
money
this.
To speed up these the adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle
Stop
this,
it and mainline the story. I can't.
Told them to vote
I have to get all the little circles.
Because it gives him a campaign issue.
I have to get all the little circles. I have to go to all the little triangles. I got to fight all the little baby monsters.
You can't just do this through the executive.
I got to fight all the baby monsters. I got to fight all the baby monsters.
He had 4 years to do this, and he promised you, America, how easy it would be.
Weak to the fire.
Beautiful wall.
Oh.
And Mexico will pay for it.
Okay.
Less than 2% of that wall.
Get out of there!
Built,
oh,
Mexico
bitch.
Didn't pay a dime. But here we are again, 9 years after he came down that escalator.
Can you heal my lady?
Dehumanizing people and telling him what he was going to do.
Yo, do you think they're going to talk about dogs and cats getting eaten?
Senator Vance said it was so unworkable to be laughable.
Do you think they're going to talk about eating dogs and cats?
Pass the bill.
I bet they do.
Governor, your time
I
is
bet
up,
they talk about eating dogs.
The question was, will you
I'm in Japan, and even they don't even eat. I thought they would eat dogs here, but they don't.
Citizens, you have 1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separations thanks to Kamala Harris's open
Oh,
border.
shit, says right dude here.
Of inviting drug
Watch
mules.
this, double up, double fire, double fire, bam,
this country, and we
bam.
Know that they use children as drug
what
mules,
the fuck?
It is a disgrace, and it has to stop. Look,
becomes pressured after using certain tags.
The smell test for 3 years.
Watch out, Cloud. Oh, fuck, Cloud.
That she was going to undo Donald Trump's
you
border
dumb
policy.
bitch.
She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country.
Record
now,
amount of fentanyl.
Now that she's running for president,
record amount of fentanyl.
Before, she says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation. The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she
interrupt them when they're using concentrate.
was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that open the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States.
This problem is leading to problems? That's what you said? You said a problem's leading to problems? You can't do that. That's a double around. You fucked up. Fucked up.
What about
Misspoke.
our CBS News polling, which does show that a majority of Americans, more than 50%, support mass deportations?
Look, we fix this issue with a bill that is necessary, but the issue on this is what happens when you don't want to solve it. You demonize it. And we saw this, and Senator Vance.
I'm not getting any of the magic things.
And saying I will create stories to bring attention to this.
Come on.
That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield. The Republican governor
use that concentrate shit.
It's not true. Don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Langford did it. We could come together and solve this if we didn't let Donald Trump continue to make it an issue.
Why can I not hurt this guy?
The consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. We know it.
Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And
oh, fuck, I almost staggered him.
We dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Tim,
Governor,
run a poll.
Your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the question first. The governor has made the point, and I think as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse strings and any funding. So you have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and
I don't know what Trio has a wrench. I don't have all the chats
that you
open.
would actually want to implement? You have 1 minute.
Look, Margaret, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job.
I'm going to try killing that hippo one more time. I think I could interrupt it.
And it's actually heartbreaking because the Border Patrol agents, they just want to be empowered to do their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico. You've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very they're
going to talk about the dogs and the kids.
Said in
Say
Springfield.
It.
Look,
say it.
Springfield, Ohio, and in
what are they doing there? What are they doing in Springfield?
You've got schools that are overwhelmed. You've got hospitals that are overwhelmed.
What are they doing?
You've got housing that is totally
what are they doing?
Unaffordable.
What are they eating?
Because we brought in
what are they eating?
Of illegal immigrants.
What are they eating?
For scarce homes.
JD, what are they eating? In Springfield. Tell me now. Tell me now what they're eating.
And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to.
I want to know what they're eating in fucking Springfield. What are they eating? What are they eating? What are they eating?
Yeah, well, it is law enforcement that asked for the bill. They helped craft it. They're the ones that supported it. It was that's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to bring this up, of not dealing with it, of blaming migrants for everything.
All right, so I got to interrupt this guy when he uses
concentrate. A little bit about
concentrate.
Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable, but it becomes a blame. Look, this bill also gives the money necessary to adjudicate. I agree. It should not take 7 years for an asylum claim to be done. This bill gets it done in 90 days. Then you start to make a difference in this, and you start to adhere to what we know, American principles. Look, I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about.
Oh, he's bringing in Jesus.
I think that's true.
Here comes Jesus.
They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the people who do it, and it lets us keep our dignity about how we treat other people.
Tell me a little bit more about the J-Man.
And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants.
What are they eating?
Status. Temporary protected.
What are they eating?
Thank you, Senator.
That's what we want to know about.
I think it's important because turn out of the economy. Thank you.
Oh!
We're going to fact check.
Wait, how come I can't fucking interrupt him when he's concentrating?
What's actually going on?
There we go. Oh, I got all of them.
The CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum.
Oh my God, he brute forced his way in. He fucking brute forced in there.
The wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not.
Oh wow!
For a green card and waiting for 10 years.
Big move from JD. Big move from JD. He's crushing these broads. This is why you don't let women. This is why you don't let women moderate a debate. This is why you don't let women moderate a debate.
Thank you, gentlemen.
This is why. This is why. Oh, you dumb broads. You stupid bitches.
The audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
You got this.
So much we want to get
to. Ladies. Ladies.
Nora,
he wants to talk about immigrants. He doesn't want to talk about anything else.
A top concern for voters. Each of your campaigns has released
JD fucking ram jammed him.
Governor Walz.
They don't know. The women do not know how to interrupt a guy effectively. They can't do it. Just talk over him.
Housing and a renewed
fucking
child
broads.
tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion. How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit?
All right, real quick, I'm gonna mute the. I want to mute this debate shit. I gotta make a point. So I want to make. I kind of want to make a video about this game. Because I think Final Fantasy VII is like the ultimate example of how video games have gotten fucked. Remember how you used to just like find treasure chests in a video game and you felt cool? You're like, oh my god, a treasure chest. I found a hidden treasure chest. I feel so smart. I found a thing. Probably nobody else found this because it was hidden. You see in the top left of my screen where it says locate the treasure, obtain 0 out of 2? So you find these areas and they tell you that there's always exactly 2 treasure chests in the area, and you just search until you find the 2 treasure chests. Like, that's the level of hand-holding we're at now. We don't even trust gamers to just find treasure chests anymore. We have to tell them exactly how many there are and make it a gamified fucking little... It's sad. It's sad what's happened to video games. All right, anyway, I wanted to make that point.
Go to the middle class. $6,000 child tax credit. We have one in Minnesota.
Talk about... Oh, look, I found the second treasure chest.
By a third. We save money in the long run, and we do the right thing for families.
I completed the cache location.
The law as it stands right now is $5,000 tax credit
fucking
for small
retarded.
business, increasing that to $50,000.
Dude, everything about video games is this
between
game.
Donald Trump
I find it fascinating.
He kept it.
Because not like it's not fun, but it is just like...
Tell him to give you a tax cut. He gave the tax
it might as well be a
predominantly
spreadsheet
went to the top
simulator.
class. What happened there was an $8 trillion
You're not playing a game.
increase
You're
in
like...
the national debt, the largest
You're doing
ever.
math
Now
for
he's
someone else.
proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including...
Dude, I should have a
businesses,
Subway
it would be
Surface screen as
destabilizing
well.
it would
That'd be pretty
increase
funny.
inflation and potentially lead to
Dude, we should do
recession.
Vito Chan's
Look,
fucking
this is simple
ADD
for you.
streams and
Where
just
are we
have
going?
like
Kamala Harris has said to
80
do the things she
things
wants
on the
to do.
screen.
We'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. When you do that, our system works best. More people are participating in
Vito
it.
Chan's
and folks have the
ADD fuck
things
you
that they need.
adventure.
Senator, I want to give you a moment to respond on that. But similarly, the Wharton School has done an analysis of the Trump plan and says it would increase the nation's deficit by $5.8 trillion. My question is the same for you. How do you pay for all that?
How do you
without
pay
ballooning
for
the
it?
deficit?
How you
I'll give
gonna
2
pay
minutes.
for it,
Well, first
Timmy
of all,
Tim?
you're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard in the answer a lot of what Kamala Harris
Watch
proposes
this mushroom
to do.
jump.
And some of it, I'll be honest
This
with
is
you,
the best
it even
designed
sounds pretty good.
overworld
Here's
in the
what
whole
we won't
game,
hear,
though.
is that
This
Kamala
area has a
Harris
bunch of like
already
crazy
done it
verticality and
because she's
shit.
been the vice
This
president
is the one
for
part of the
3.5
game where I feel
years.
like I'm
She
playing
had the
Dark Souls.
opportunity to enact all of these great policies.
If this was a Dark Souls
and what
level,
she's
it would be a real
actually
good
done
Dark Souls level.
instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%.
Oh my God, she
Drive
raised
cost
the price of
housing higher by about
food.
60%. Open the
Oh, they
American
want to
southern
tax
border and
all
make
imports at
middle-class life
20%?
unaffordable
No,
for a
no, no,
large
no,
number
no,
of
no, no.
Americans. If
We're
Kamala
not doing
Harris has
that.
such great
No,
plans
no.
for how to address middle-class problems, then she
No,
ought
no.
to do them now.
No, no, no.
Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her.
Look at me,
3.5
I'm Subway
years ago.
surfing with a
And the fact
chocobo
that
right
she
now.
isn't tells you a lot
Wahoo!
about how much you can trust her actual plans. Now, Donald Trump's economic plan is not just a plan, but it's also a record. A lot of those same economists attack Donald Trump's plans, and they have PhDs, but they don't have common sense. and they
Oh,
don't have wisdom,
PhDs, but no
because Donald
common
Trump's
sense.
economic policies delivered the highest take-home pay in a generation in this country.
See, how do I get to this
1.5%
fucking
inflation,
area?
and to boot, peace and security all over the world.
can't
So
figure
when
out how to
people
get
say
that
Donald
this
Trump's
shit.
economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising
Look at the
take-home
record.
pay for American workers.
Look at the record.
Now, Tim admirably admits
Dude, the US
that
debt
they
is
want to
like
undo the Trump tax cuts,
terrifying.
but if
We're
you
just gonna
look
be
at
in
what
debt
was so
forever.
different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even from previous Republican tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more take-home pay to middle-class and working-class Americans. It was passed in 2017, and you saw an
Dude, how am I gonna? What if my Pockies are?
In a generation,
Vito Chan likes the Pockies.
That I'm proud to run on, and we're gonna get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a lot of you are worried about paying the bills.
I am.
It's gonna stop when Donald
So you
Trump
want to tax me 20% on imports?
Governor, do you want to respond to that? What has Kamala Harris done?
I don't want to do that.
Well, Kamala Harris's day one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy.
Oh, failure on COVID, calling him out.
Recession, but
big swing, taking a big swing here.
Since the Great Depression, 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one. Whether it was the Infrastructure Act or other things, we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look, if you're going to be president, you don't have all the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this: if you need surgery,
he said pro tip.
People at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester.
That's my word.
Donald Trump.
Oh, I'm voting for this guy.
Pro tip. I ask you out there, teachers, nurses, truck drivers, or whatever.
My pro tip.
How is it fair that you're paying your
taxes
every
word.
year, and Donald Trump hasn't paid any federal tax in the last 15 years?
I don't give a shit about federal tax. Don't care about that.
That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
You have a minute.
I don't give a shit about Trump paying tax.
But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we
Bro, we are definitely getting cheaper goods from China. I don't know what you're talking about.
It would make the middle class.
A fucking HD TV costs $200.
They were wrong about the idea.
Anyone who says we're not getting cheaper goods because of Chinese manufacturing, that don't make no sense to me.
In our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in
I don't need factory jobs to come back. I'm never getting a factory job. Nobody I know is ever getting a factory job.
Bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore.
Robots should be building the fucking
American
TVs.
Manufacturing back. We're unleashing American energy. We're going to
American
make more of our own stuff.
manufacturing.
And this isn't just an economic
Who
issue.
gives a shit about
I've got
that?
3 beautiful little kids at home, 7, 4, and 2, and I love them very much, and I hope they're in bed right now. But look, so many of the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we put in the bodies of our children.
Can this guy talk about drugs without talking about his giving drugs to his kids?
To stop, and we're not going to stop it by listening to experts. We're going to stop it by listening to common sense.
I hate to tell you guys this, but everything getting made in China, it's basically we have slavery again, but it's okay because it's happening in China.
If you're listening tonight and you want billionaires to get tax cuts, you heard what the numbers were.
I want Chinese people to make all my shit.
On this, I'm not a guy.
I want Chinese people to make my shit.
But I understand that. Look. We produce soybeans and corn. We need to have fair trading partners. That's something that we believe in. I think the thing that most concerns me.
We're only enslaving the Chinese until we figure out how to replace them with robots. And once we replace them with robots, we don't got to worry about it anymore.
So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. I watched it.
Oh my God! Why do they keep attacking my girl?
And we talked about that. But we had people undercutting the right to collectively bargain. We had right to work states made it more difficult. We had companies that were willing to ship it over, and we saw people profit. Folks that are venture capital in some cases, putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about.
Dude, yeah, American labor does not need to make microwaves and toasters. Let them make high-end fucking.
Just out of the IRA.
I don't know, man. Any American factory should be making fancy stuff. I don't need a homeless guy to come off the street and make me a shitty microwave. I don't care.
And he acknowledged that the experts screwed up. He said, "Well, Donald Trump
what the fuck's a Moogly?
As good of a job as the statistics show."
Moogly's a little teddy bear friend.
And I honestly, Tim, I think you got a tough job here. You've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did, and then you've simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which is made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes
gas is $4 a gallon in California. You know how cheap that is in fucking California?
I know what it's like to not be able to.
The fact that gas is $4 a gallon right now is like insanity.
So better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America.
You can't tell me gas is too expensive, JD. I ain't falling for it. I know what gas normally costs. What should I do with the insurgents? There, get the shit out of them.
Thank you, Margaret.
We have a lot to get to ahead, gentlemen, on many topics. But right
we
now,
got to waterboard this
personal
cocksucker.
Qualifications. The vice president is often the last voice the president hears.
Oh, I wanted to waterboard him.
Making consequential
The
decisions.
attack on Calm was a diversion.
I want to ask you about your leadership qualities. Governor Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring
it's a
of
VR
1989.
it's a VR simulation.
But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually
What do you mean? This is Vito Chan. Vito's my fucking cousin. I'm Vito Chan.
Can you explain that discrepancy?
What am I about to do
folks
here?
out there didn't get at the top of this. Look,
Training
I
exercise.
grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you.
I want one of these guys to come out on stage and go, listen,
I'm proud of that service.
I'm Jewish and I grew up fucking rich.
Worked on family
You want to be rich like me?
Use the GI Bill to become a teacher.
Then let me do what I want to do.
My first year out, I got the opportunity.
It's always I'm a rural Christian, blah, blah. I just want one guy to come out and go, my name's Hinkle Finkelstein, and I want everybody to have Jew gold the way I got Jew gold.
Young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth.
Everybody's going to get a little bit of Jew gold.
And learn. Now look, my community knows who I am.
You want to be rich and successful like the Jews? Make me president.
I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried.
I can't even hit these robots.
I've not been perfect.
Why can I not hit these
robots?
robots?
At times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress. For 12
people
years.
elected me to Congress.
And in Congress,
I'm a rural cowboy, and I love it. No, just say I am Jewish.
And then the people of Minnesota were
elementally
able to elect me to
attack
governor
it.
twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything. Many times
I can't hit
will
these
talk
fucking
a
things.
lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But
Bat.
being there,
Hit him with the ice.
The difference it made in my life. I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques.
I learned a lot about
China.
China.
That Donald Trump should have come on one of those.
Yeah, well, that he could even say, he goes, listen, we're not going to give you all the Jew gold, but
Xi Jinping about COVID.
It's going to be better than what you got now.
Trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world.
I want President
Jenkelstein. Do the best you can for your community.
Just goes, fuck all this cowboy hotshot bullshit. You want to be rich and successful? Make me president.
Which I was good at.
I'm going to give you guys the best interest rates you ever seen.
Being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said.
Oh, my God. What did he misspeak
So
on?
I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you,
I'm
Governor.
so confused.
Senator Vance,
ditch the
in
gay
2016,
VTuber shit.
You called your running
Why?
mate Donald Trump
This is fun.
unfit for the nation's highest office, and you said he could be America's Hitler.
America's Hitler, he said. He said America's Hitler.
And explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the Washington Post
Why would
reported
you
new
say
messages
that?
last week
That's
in which
a bad.
you also disparaged Trump's economic record while he was president.
America's
Writing
Hitler.
to someone in 2020, quote, Trump thoroughly failed to deliver his economic populism. You're now his running mate, and you've shifted many of your policy stances.
How does it feel to be running with Hitler?
If you become vice president,
what am I going to do, a cam stream? I don't want to do a cam stream because I can't scratch my balls.
He needs to hear, and not just the advice he wants to hear. You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open, and sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president, but I've also been extremely open about
I can't do anything
to these fucking guys. Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record, but most importantly, Donald Trump
can we hit these
delivered
people
for
now?
the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret, why I've done so many interviews is because I think it's important to actually
I never remember your
explain to the
synergy
American
abilities
people
in this game.
where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now, you pointed out the messages from 2020. Margaret, I've been extremely consistent that I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration the first round if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators senators and congressmen.
God, how does anyone watch this shit? It's the most boring shit in the world.
There are a lot of things on the border.
No,
on
fuck,
tariffs,
not that.
For example,
I wanted to heal everybody.
We could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they govern the country. They were so.
What are they even fucking talking about now?
They couldn't actually govern.
Bro, you called Trump Hitler, America and Hitler,
Margaret, because Tim just accused this of being.
And then you realize, wait, this guy could get me into the thing.
And you're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden
what did Joe Biden do?
Continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration, it's the one issue where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this. If you're trying to employ slave laborers in China at $3
slave laborers, he said it good. Yes, I want slave labor. I do want it. I like having Chinese slaves making me Chinese shit.
Markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Senator, your time is up. Nora?
Thank you.
We're not bringing fucking. What do you think? You think we're gonna make refrigerators in America again? What are you, crazy?
You signed a bill into law that made Minnesota one of the least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion. Former President Trump said in the last debate that you believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine. Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look, this issue is what's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion. He brags about how great it was that he put the judges in and overturned Roe versus Wade. 52 years of personal autonomy. And then he tells us, oh, we send it to the states. It's a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks.
What?
She has a complication.
Abortions.
She needs to go in. The medical care.
I'll tell you guys this. Vito Chan never needed no abortion. Why?
In Texas, that would have put them in legal
because
jeopardy.
every time I have sex, I go home, I take the vacuum cleaner, and I suck anything that might be left in there out of there.
Duval, a 12-year-old
I don't know why everybody doesn't do it.
Raped and impregnated by her stepfather.
You take a wet vac.
Those are horrific.
15 seconds.
Now, when God asked about that, Senator Vance said,
no baby.
Right. There is no right in this. So in Minnesota, what we did was restore Roe versus Wade. We made sure
I want the right to a wet vac.
Women in charge of their health care. But look, this is not where, if you don't know Amanda,
how do I get to this?
You soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a
Project 2025.
It's going to get more difficult, if not impossible, to get contraception and limit access.
I gotta get, dude. I gotta get a nice 3D printer. I gotta get a nice. I want to get like the top of the line 3D printer, and I want to learn 3D modeling. I've been watching this guy who just makes like his own action figures and shit, and it's so cool.
The catch-all on this is well, the states will decide what's right for
oh man, I gotta get a 3D printer like this fucking week. I'll wait for Black Friday. It's almost Black Friday, right?
We have seen maternal mortality skyrocket in Texas.
Is Vito VTubing? What are you talking about? Vito is. I'm a real fucking person. My name is Vito Chan. I'm a tiny little half Italian, half fucking Japanesey high school girl. Why does everybody say I'm virtual? I'm real.
I know a lot of Americans care about it. And I know a lot
I'm real, and I have real feelings. And if you don't like it, eat my fucking little tiny Japanesey ball sack.
Family in a neighborhood where I knew a lot of young women who had unplanned pregnancies.
A lot of young women
terminate those pregnancies because they feel like they didn't have any other options.
Should Vito Chan be trans?
And, you know,
maybe I'm trans.
One of them is actually very dear to me, and I know she's watching tonight.
I think it's like I think it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. They go, "Is that a trans lady?" I can't tell.
She felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party.
They don't trust you because half you guys are like, I don't care if a lady gets raped by 15 guys, she's carrying that fucking baby. And you're like, bro, why don't you just not say that? Your life would be so much easier if you said, yeah, she can get an abortion, that's fine.
Raise that family.
We don't need the 15 guy. We don't need the fucking raped babies.
more options. Now, of course, Donald Trump has been very clear that on the abortion
Oh my
policy
God, I just love
specifically,
babies so
that
much,
we have
especially
a
the super
big
rape
country,
babies.
and it's diverse. And
little
California
much.
has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from
Georgia.
Arizona. And the proper way to handle
Where does this mushroom
as
go?
messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions.
Look, I'm
Let
okay
the
with states'
individual
rights
states
as long
make
as
their
you let
abortion
people
policy.
travel out
And
of
I think
state to
that's
get a
what
fucking
makes the
abortion.
most
I got no
sense
problem
in
with
a very
that.
big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
Governor, would you like to
I
respond?
don't think you should
and
use
also
the
answer
term
question
messy when you talk about
restrictions?
abortion.
Yeah, well, the
It has
question
certain
you got to ask, Donald
implications.
Trump made the accusation that
You
wasn't
want to
true
see
about
these?
Minnesota.
You want to see them
Well,
titty
let me
jiggle
tell you
physics?
about this idea that there's diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman. She happened to be in Georgia, a restrictive state.
They're trying to ban
Because of
in
that,
vitro
she had to
fertilization. Yeah,
travel a
guys,
long
that's the thing is like,
distance to
there's a
North
couple of
Carolina
Republicans. I get it.
to try and
When
get
you're
her
like, look,
care.
you can't just get abortions whenever
Amber
you
Thurman
want.
died
It should be for
in
like
that
medical
journey
shit.
back and
I'm like,
forth.
okay, I
The
at least
fact
get
of
the
matter is,
argument.
How can we as a nation?
But then they're like,
say
and if
that
you get an
your
abortion,
life
we kill you and we
and
make the
your
baby
rights
watch. And you're like, I
as
feel like that's a
basic
bad
as the
plan.
right to control your own body is determined on geography. There's a very real chance.
Yeah, but
that
that's
Amber
true
Thurman
of the
lived in
world
Minnesota,
anyway.
She would be alive today. That's why the restoration of Roe versus Wade. When you listen to Vice President
I
Harris
don't know
talk
how to
about
get back to
subject,
this
and you hear
fucking
me talk
chocobo
about it,
area, and it's
you
gonna
hear us
drive me
talking
nuts.
exactly the same. Donald Trump is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about
I need
what's
to get up
happening.
here, and I have
His
no
running
idea
mate,
how
though,
to.
does not, and that's the problem.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, let me ask you about that. He mentioned, it was, I think, referring to a national ban. In the past, you have supported a federal ban on abortion after 15 weeks.
Look what
In
they
fact,
did
you
to me.
said
Look
if
what the
someone can't
leftists did
support
to me.
legislation like that, quote, you are making the United States the most barbaric pro-abortion regime anywhere in the entire world. My question is,
Pro-abortion.
why have you changed your position?
Well, Nora, first of all, I never supported a national ban. I did when I was running for Senate in 2022 talk about setting some minimum national standard. For example, we have a partial birth abortion ban in place in this country at the federal level. I don't think anybody's trying to get rid of that, or at least I hope
I'm
not.
basically
Though I
dead
know the
inside,
Democrats have
Robert.
taken a very radical
Oh, hey,
pro-abortion
Ghost Talk,
stance. But
thank you.
Nora,
Well, we'll have
one
more
of the things
videos
that
soon.
changed
I'm just getting
is
caught
in
up.
the state of Ohio, we had a referendum in
I got some ideas for
2023,
videos.
and the people of Ohio voted overwhelmingly, by the way, against my position. And I think that what I learned from that, Nora, is that we've got to do a better job at winning back people's trust. So many young women would love to have families. So many young women also see an unplanned pregnancy as something that's going to destroy their livelihood, destroy their education, destroy their relationships.
Yeah, it fucking will.
And
You
we
have
got to
you can't
earn
say the
people's
economy's
trust
bullshit
back.
and then be like,
that's
oh,
why
you also
Donald
got to pay
Trump
for a
and I are
baby.
committed to
That's the
pursuing
problem.
pro-family policies, making child care more accessible, making fertility
Bro,
treatments
there's
more
no one can
accessible,
afford a
'cause we've
baby.
got
I
to
can't
do
afford a
better
baby.
job at that, and that's what real leadership is.
Governor, your response.
Well, I'm going to respond on the pro-abortion piece of that. No, we're not. We're pro-women. We're pro-freedom to make your own choice. We know what the implications are to not be that.
Yeah, but being
Women
pro-woman
having
is being
miscarriages,
pro-abortion.
women
Like,
not getting
come
the
on.
care, physicians
Women
feeling
want
like they may be
abortions.
prosecuted for providing that care. And
yeah,
as
we
far
know
as
they do.
making sure that we're educating
They
our
did. They
children
actually
and
talked
giving
about the
them
Iranian
options.
attack like
Minnesota's a state
immediately.
with one of the lowest teen pregnancy rates.
They talked about it at the very
We
beginning.
understand that too.
A little
we know
bit.
that the options need to be available, and we make that true. We also make it, we're a top 3 state for the best place to raise children. But these two things to try and say that we're
Oh my God,
pro-children,
come
but we don't
on.
like this,
I
or,
hate
or
this.
you guys
I
are
hate this
pro-abortion,
battle.
that's not the case at all. We are pro-freedoms for women to make their choices, and we're going, and Kamala Harris is making
I
the
hate
case
this fucking-
to make options
I
for
hate
children
this.
more affordable, a $6,000 child tax credit, but we're not going to base that on the backs of making someone like
I
Amber
hate fighting
Thurman
these fucking
drive 600 miles to try and get health care.
asshole
May I respond to that?
fucking
First of all,
jellyfishes.
Governor, I agree with you. Amber Thurman should still be alive, and there are a lot of people who should still be alive, and I certainly wish that she was. And maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me, but as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think, whether you're pro-choice or pro-abortion, that is fundamentally
Oh my God,
barbaric.
this
And that's why I
fucking
use that
area
word, Nora,
sucks.
is because some of what we've seen, do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions against their will because Kamala Harris has supported suing Catholic nuns to violate their freedom of conscience. We can be a big and diverse country where we respect people's freedom of conscience and make the country more pro-baby and pro-family. But
I don't know. I kind of want to play through all of
Governor,
8.
please respond.
Look, this is one where there's always something there. This is a very simple proposition. These are women's decisions.
I mean, the original 7 is just really good.
Decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong about, Governor?
I don't know why I can't.
What was I wrong about?
This battle sucks.
I've given this. How? I've given
Oh
this
my
advice
God,
on a lot of
dude.
things
Anytime I
that
try to do
getting
anything, they
involved
fucking
in,
interrupt my
that's been
guy.
misread. It was fact-checked at the
And they
last
can't even
debate.
hit them.
But the point on this is there's a continuation of these guys to try and tell women or to get involved. I use this line on this, just mind your own business on this. Things worked best when Roe versus Wade was in place. When we do a restoration of Roe, that works best. That doesn't preclude us
You can't hit these
from
assholes.
increasing funding for children. It doesn't increase us from making sure that once that child's born, like in Minnesota, they get meals. They get early childhood education. They get health care. So the hiding behind we're going to do all these other things when you're not proposing them in your budget. Kamala Harris is proposing them.
but her
She's
magic's
proposing
like really
all those
good.
things to make life easier for families.
I asked a specific question, Governor. You gave me a slogan as a response.
It's not the case. It's not true. That's not what the law says. So they fact-checked it with President Trump.
Gentlemen, there's a lot to discuss. We have to move on, and we're going to be right back with much more of the CBS News
That's not
Vice
true.
Presidential debate in just a moment.
I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if that's a good tactic. But they're not fact-checking this debate, so I guess he kind of is stuck doing it. Where's this mushroom? Hey, you guys want to see the worst? You guys want to see the worst mini game of all time? Mushroom grabber. Oh wow, they're finally doing ads. Wow, we went a while without ads. I guess it's a debate. All right, here we go. Here's the worst. Here's the worst mini game you're ever gonna see in your life. So we got to look at the mushroom. We got to figure out which side of the mushroom to pluck first. I don't fucking know. It seems exactly the same. It seems exactly the same. Alright, I guess this one seems like the most. This one's way less. I have no fucking idea. Failed. So it's this one first. Green, green, green. Mushroom successfully picked. Yeah! That was retarded. Alright. Now I can take the mushroom back to this lady so she can make soup. This is my life now. This is my life now. I help people make fantasy soup. Whole world's in trouble. I'm helping find mushrooms for soup. This is what happened to our video games. This is what happened to video games. Gotta make that motherfucking soup, bitch. Make me some motherfucking soup now. Let me get a little bit of soup. Make me some fucking soup. Make me some fucking 3-star soup. I got you the veggies. I got you the racks. I got you some motherfucking mushrooms. Let's get it on. Look at that ass. Yeah. Look at that ass. Make a little bit of motherfucking soup. Not on Fantasy Soup. Why are they not running ads? Feels like this would be a place for NBC to make money. Cooking's never as easy as you think. Yo, lesbians.
The vote. It's as American
lesbians.
As it's iconic.
Got the flag up?
Patriotic. The vote is as American as you. This November,
I want to make soup. I haven't made soup in forever.
Voter up.
I'll say this, at least this game's inspiring me to make soup.
The 2024 election on the NBC News app.
We're back now with tonight's vice presidential debate.
When it ends, join us for
You know what soup is good? You ever get that sausage soup from the Olive Garden? If you make that at home, it's pretty fucking good. That sausage, it's sausage, kale, chicken stock, cream.
Welcome back to the CBS
red pepper
News
flakes,
vice presidential debate. We want to turn
potato.
now to America's
What else is
gun
in there? Anything
violence
else?
epidemic. The leading cause of death for children and teens in America is by firearms. Senator Vance.
Wait, the leading cause of death for young people is
that Democrats
firearms?
claim would curb gun violence.
That's hilarious.
You oppose red flag gun laws and legislation to ban certain semi-automatic rifles, including AR-15s. So let me ask you, earlier this year, for the
Why are
first
you
time,
such a cuck?
the parents of a school shooter were convicted of involuntary
You save your
manslaughter
bones?
and sentenced to 10 years in
Nah, I don't
prison.
save my bones.
Do you think holding parents responsible could
This game has
curb
also made me
mass
want to play
shootings?
Monster
I'll give you
Hunter
2
again.
minutes.
Yeah, well, Nora, on that particular case, I don't know the full details, but I certainly trust local law enforcement and local authorities to make those decisions. I think in some cases the answer is going to be yes, and in some cases the answer is going to be no.
Some cases
And
the
details
answer
really
is
matter here.
take
Of course, for example, if a
guns
kid
away?
steals
What?
a gun, that's going to be different than if a parent hands over a gun knowing that their kid is
Oh, you're
potentially
saying whether we should
dangerous.
charge
But look, I want to
parents?
just sort of speak as a father of 3 beautiful little kids, and our oldest
All of
is
whom
now
want
in
to
2nd
kill
grade.
all
And
the
like a lot of
time.
parents, we send our kids to school with such hope and such joy and such pride at their little faces on the first day.
Why
of
is he
school, and we
smiling? We're
know,
talking about kids getting
unfortunately,
shot,
that
you
a lot of
dumb
kids are gonna
motherfucker.
experience this
You're
terrible
fucking this
epidemic of
question
gun
up.
violence. And of course, our hearts go out to the families that are.
Why is he
affected by this terrible
laughing?
stuff,
Dude,
and
he
we
just
do have to do
chuckled.
better. And I think
Of
that
course
Waltz
we
and I actually
do.
probably agree that we
What
need to
the
do better
fuck?
on this. The question is just how do we actually do it?
Did he just goof and laugh?
Here's something that
Am I
really
crazy?
bothers me and worries me about this epidemic of violence. The gross majority, close to 90% in some of the statistics I've seen, of the gun violence in this country is
caused by
committed
trans
with
people.
illegally obtained
Oh, okay.
firearms. And
I thought
while
he was
we're
gonna
on
say
that
trans people
topic,
again.
we know that thanks to Kamala Harris's open border, we've seen a massive
Bro, I heard him
influx in the number
chuckling.
of illegal
Am I
guns
crazy?
run by the Mexican drug cartel.
Oh, he's bringing it back to the
amount of illegal guns in our country is
Mexicans.
higher today than
That's
it was
such
3.5
bullshit,
years
dude.
ago.
None of those kids
What
are
do we
doing
do
school
about
shootings
the
with
schools?
Mexican
What do we do to
guns.
protect our kids? And I think the answer is
That's a
and I say
fucking
this,
dodge and a
not
half,
loving the
dude.
answer, because I don't want
I've
my
never
kids
heard
to
of a
go to
school shooting where they're
school
like, and he
school
got the guns from the
feels unsafe
cartel.
or where there are visible
What?
signs of security. But I
I have
unfortunately
never
think that
heard
we
that.
have to increase security in
No
our schools.
way.
We have to make the doors lock better. We have to
How
make the
did you
doors
make
stronger.
this
We've gotta
about
make the
fucking
windows stronger.
Mexicans?
And of course, we've got to increase school resource officers.
But we got to
because
stop
the
Mexican.
idea
The reason
that we
these
can
kids
magically
are
wave
shooting
a
up the
wand and
schools
take guns out of the hands
because
of
of
bad
the
guys,
Mexicans.
It just doesn't
I do
fit
miss
with
Monster
recent
Hunter
experience,
Worlds.
So we've got to make our schools safer, and I think we've got to have some common sense.
I never got the
bipartisan
Iceborne
solutions for how
expansion.
to
I
do
shouldn't
that.
have stopped playing. Oh, I wouldn't have
you
had
have 2
time to
minutes.
play it.
Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and
He wants to
witnessed a
kill.
shooting at a community center playing volleyball. Those things don't leave you. As a member of Congress, I sat in my office surrounded by dozens of the Sandy Hook parents, and they were looking at my 7-year-old picture on the wall. Their 7-year-old were dead, and they were asking us to do something. And look, I'm a hunter. I own firearms. The vice president is. We understand that the Second Amendment is there, but our first responsibility is to our kids to figure this out. In Minnesota, we've enacted enhanced red flag laws, enhanced background checks, and we can start to get data. But
Mexican
here's the problem.
guns.
If we really want to solve this, we've got folks that won't allow research to be even done.
If
on
you
gun
got a
violence.
problem,
And
yo,
this
I'll
idea
solve it.
that we
Check
should
out the
just live
beat.
with it, and
as the
here's what
DJ
I do
revolves
think
it.
that this is a good
How do I
start to
get
the
in here?
conversation.
I'm confused.
I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent and it breaks your heart. I agree with that. But that's not far enough when we know
How do
there
I
are things
get
that
up
work.
there?
I've spent time in Finland and seen some Finnish schools. They don't have this happen. even though they have a high gun ownership rate in the country. There are reasonable.
If you want to make the country like Finland, it's a little late. Little late to make this country like Finland, bro.
These weapons out there, it just doesn't make any sense. Kamala Harris, as an attorney general, worked on this issue.
Monster Hunter is a huge time sink.
No one's trying to scaremonger.
It's a fun time sink, but it's a huge time sink.
Do you want your schools hardened to look like a fort? Is that what we have to go when we know?
I mean, just get rid of public schools. Just get rid of them. They're not necessary. The reason kids are shooting them up is they're a prison and the kids don't want to be there.
To get a fix. These are things that shouldn't be that difficult. You can still.
It's the most obvious thing in the world. Kid doesn't want to go to school? Okay. Dad, if I got to go to school, I'm going to shoot everybody in the school. Okay, well, don't worry. You don't have to go to school.
17-year-old witnessed a shooting. I'm sorry about that, and I hope that you're doing okay. Christ have mercy.
Christ have mercy indeed.
And I appreciate what Tim said, actually, about Finland.
Just tell these kids that they don't have to go to school.
Frankly, weird differences.
What's that? You don't like school? Everyone bullies you. You just want to hang out at home and play fucking Fortnite? Okay, fine.
We have way higher rates of mental health.
100%. We have no problem with that.
Mental health, substance abuse.
Wait, how do I pressure these? Tagging a Christ with guarding.
Anxiety. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do.
It's always a mental health fucking thing.
Causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence problem, but I do think it's a big piece of it. Another driver of the gun violence epidemic, especially that affecting our kids, it doesn't earn
how
as
the
many
fuck does he interrupt me?
But is the terrible gun violence problem in a lot of our big cities, and this is why we have to empower law enforcement to arrest the bad guys, put them away, and take
what the fuck are you talking about? Arrest the bad guys. They're high school kids shooting up the schools, bro.
But I do think at our schools we've got to talk about more security.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those San Diego parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look,
I've become friends with school shooters? What?
For a long time. They used to teach gun safety.
Is that what he just
I'm
said?
At an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after
football Finland doesn't have a big basketball program.
Today. And several things I want to mention on this is talking about cities and where it's at. The number one where the most firearm deaths happen in Minnesota are rural suicides. And we have an epidemic of children getting guns and shooting themselves.
Hitting with powerful, what's guarding or tagging with pressure.
And we should look at all of the issues. Making sure folks have health care and all that, but I want to be very careful. This idea of stigmatizing mental health, just because you have a mental health issue doesn't mean you're violent. And I think what we end up doing is we start looking for a scapegoat. Sometimes it just is the guns. It's just the guns.
Why can't I pressure?
Why can't I pressure this guy? But I do think that this is one, and I think this is a healthy conversation. I think there's a capacity to find solutions on this that work, protect Second Amendment, protect our children. That's our priority.
Gentlemen, thank you. Margaret?
Can't figure. Oh, I did it.
Let's turn now to the top contributor to inflation.
Why did he say he's friends with school shooters?
Cost of housing and rent. There's a shortage of more than 4 million homes in
the
United
definitely said that, right?
And that contributes.
I've become friends with school shooters. Why? I think he meant school shooting victims.
$25,000 down payment assistance for first-time
I've become friends with school shooters.
And a $10,000
well, that's not good. You shouldn't be friends with those guys. They shot up a school.
3 million new homes. Where are you building these homes, and won't handing out that kind of money just
That's a good quote.
Prices higher?
I've become friends with school shooters.
First, let me say this. This issue of housing, and I think those of you listening on this, the problem we've had is that we've got a lot of folks that see housing as another commodity. It can be bought up. It can be shifted.
How do I get in? Oh, there's a bridge there.
Those are not folks living in those houses. Those of you listening tonight, that house is a big deal. I bought and owned one house.
Is he actually going to talk about
getting
houses for me?
When I think of a house,
that's what I want.
I'm thinking of Christmas services after midnight mass where you go.
Oh God, it always comes back to fucking Jesus. Just say you're going to get me a house. I don't care about Jesus.
This program that the vice president is pushing forward, and
Tim Wallace said he's friends with school shooters.
It's something we're doing in Minnesota from that lead. We in the state.
One of my friends murdered his stepmom, then went to the college, shoot his dad with a bow and arrow. Yeah, get rid of them bow and arrows.
It starts to make
at least bow and arrow, you can only take out like 2-3 guys.
Local folks, look, we can't do it at the federal level, but local folks make it easier to build those homes. And then that down payment assistance. I can tell all of you out there, one of the, certainly for me, using the GI Bill was one thing, but a veteran's home loan, the big thing about a veteran's home loan is you don't have to pay the down payment.
I'm not going to get a veteran's home loan because I'm not in the fucking army. I don't give a shit about that at all.
Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value the generational wealth that's created from it.
Oh my
And I
God.
will give Minneapolis an example. Minneapolis
Just build
is
a
the
bunch of
one
shit
city where we've
housing
seen
for
the
poor
lowest inflation
people
rates.
so they stop.
We've seen a 12%
So all the
increase
rents
in
go
stock
down.
because we put some of these things
I don't
in.
care. Put them in a
and
fucking
we're
box.
Implementing a state program to make sure we give some of that down payment assistance. We get it back from people because here's what we know. People with stable housing end up with stable jobs. People with stable housing have their kids able to get to school. All of those things in the
High
long
capacity
run
quiver,
end up
yeah,
saving
that's
our
true.
money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find
Where's the magic
some common
crystal?
ground in. But we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening.
I
in
mean, it
these
is
cities.
kind of fun
The
to
fact
blame
of the matter
immigrants.
is that we
I
don't
get
have
it.
enough naturally affordable
Affordable.
housing, but we can make sure that the government's there to help kickstart it, create that base.
Governor, your time is up.
You got to override all fucking local zoning
The
boards.
promise is to seize federal lands to build homes.
Because anytime they try to
remove
build affordable
regulation,
housing, a
provide
bunch of
tax
like
breaks,
neighborhood
and
guys
cut
will
back on
oppose it because
immigration,
it's going
which
to bring
you say pushes up
Mexicans
prices.
in the neighborhood.
Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising, and what part of any of this plan will provide immediate relief?
Now the government's got to step in and be like,
first of all,
you can't oppose
Tim just said something that I agree with.
building
We don't
housing.
blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do
gotta let 'em
blame
build.
Kamala Harris for letting in millions of illegal aliens into this country, which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens.
My name is
competing
Vito
with Americans
Chan.
for scarce homes
I'm
is
a
one of the
delightful
most
Japanese
significant
schoolgirl
drivers of home prices
from
in the country. It's why
Japan,
we have
and we are here
massive
playing video
increases
games.
in home prices that have happened right alongside massive increases in illegal alien populations under Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president.
How do I get in
she
here?
wants to enact all of these policies to make housing more affordable. I invite
What's up,
her to
GeoHound?
use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream of homeownership completely unaffordable. Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the
The
equation
Democrats
for
are the only
American
guys
citizens?
who are
If
saying,
you
like, we're going to give
lower
you money to buy a
energy prices,
house.
as Donald
That
Trump
alone
says,
might be
drill,
enough to
baby,
just
drill,
win it all.
one of the biggest drivers of housing costs.
Vito
aside
Chan's
from
over
illegal
18.
immigration
Don't be
is
so
think about
sure.
it. If
You
a
don't
truck
know.
driver's paying
You don't know.
40% more for diesel, then the lumber
Look, in
he's
Japan,
delivering to the job
any
site to
age
build the
could
house
be
is
the
also going
thing.
to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy,
I ain't bringing
you
back
will
the
get
cam because I
immediate
can't
pricing
scratch my
relief-
I can't pick my
relief
nose.
for American citizens, not by
Can't
the way
scratch my
just in
balls.
housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods too.
Senator Vance, you still have 23 seconds there. Do you want to answer?
Can I have it?
Where, yeah. Governor, we will get to you in a moment. But
Can I
Senator,
have it?
Where are you going to seize
Can
the
I
federal
have
lands? Can
it?
you clarify?
Well, what Donald Trump has said is we have a lot of federal lands that aren't being used for anything. That
Bro,
aren't being used for national
talk about
parks,
Trump's
they're not
plan.
being used, and they
The
could
best
be
thing Trump ever
places where
said
we
was,
build a lot of
I'm going to
housing.
ship all the
And I
homeless
do
to
think
the
that we should
desert.
be opening up building in this country. We have a lot of land that could be used. We
That's
have a
all
lot
I
of
care
Americans
about.
that need homes. We should be kicking out
I wanna
illegal
sh-
immigrants who are competing for those
No,
homes.
no, no. I
and
wanna
we should
sh-
be
I wanna
building
sh-
more homes for the American citizens.
I want to ship all
who
the homeless
deserve
to the
be here.
desert. Trump
Senator,
said
your
he'd do
time
it.
is
Why is he
up.
not doing it?
Governor, I do want to let you respond
What the
to
fuck?
the allegation that the vice president is letting in
Well, of course, that's not
migrants.
true. And again,
that
you
it's
have the
affecting
facts. I
housing
guess we
prices.
agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. That look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office. But it's again blaming and not trying to find the solution. I was going to ask, though, on this question, are we going to drill and build houses in the same federal land? And I think when people hear federal lands, these are really important pieces of land. Now, Minnesota doesn't have a lot of federal lands. I know in the western part of the countries we do. There's not a lot of federal lands in and around Minneapolis, for example.
Oh, it's
so
up.
the issue is I don't understand the federal lands issue unless we see this, and I worry about this as someone who cares deeply about our national parks and our federal lands. Look, Minnesota.
I don't give a
we
shit
protect
about the
these things.
national
We've
parks.
got
I just
about
want a
20%
house.
of the world's fresh
All the
water.
national parks
These
can burn
lands
to the
protect.
fucking
They're there
ground.
for a reason. They belong to all of us. But
And
again,
if any
this is
Native
when
American
you
is
view
like, you can't
housing
build a house here,
and you view these
kill
things
him.
as commodities.
Put him in a
like,
box
There's a chance to
and-
make money here. Let's take this federal land and let's sell it to people for that. I think there's better ways
Yeah, I'm
to
okay
do
with
this.
that.
We've seen it in
I'm
Minnesota.
okay with
We're able
that.
to refurbish some of these houses. We're able to make some investments. That gets people in.
If we got
And I'm
if we
still
got federal land that we
on
could be
the
building
fact
on,
this.
I'm okay with that.
Economists, Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that it is immigrants that's adding to the cost?
Governor,
Where's
your
the study?
time is up. But Senator, on that point, I'd like for you to clarify. There are many contributing factors to high housing costs. What evidence do you have that migrants are part
migrants.
of this problem.
Well, there's a Federal Reserve study that we're happy to share after the debate. We'll put it up on social media, actually, that really drills down on the connection between increased levels of migration, especially illegal immigration, and higher housing prices. Now, of course, Margaret, that's not the entire driver of higher housing prices. It's also the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. Look, we are a country of builders. We're a country of doers. We're a country of explorers.
You're a doer.
But we increasingly have a federal administration that makes it harder to develop our resources, makes it harder to build things, and wants to throw people in jail for not doing everything exactly as Kamala Harris says they have to do. And what that means is that you have a lot of people who would love to build homes who aren't able to build homes.
There's 100,000 black loaves. They all cost $4,000. Not everybody gets the money. You have to be a first-time home buyer.
Into a commodity is giving it.
Why does everybody think everybody gets the benefit?
People who have no legal right to be here.
What are the federal regulations? I deal with this as a governor.
You can very quickly reply.
I'm sorry. I get this as a governor, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, that in some cases, many of those are local, many of them are state. I don't know which ones are federal, but I think whenever we talk regulations, people think they can get rid of them. I think you want to be able to get out of your house in a fire. I think you want to make sure that it's fireproof and those types of things. So which are the regulations? Because the vice president's not responsible for those. Congress writes those.
Governor, thank you. Gentlemen,
it is true there's a lot of building regulations that are
a lot
actually
to get to. You're passionate about
necessary.
the housing crisis, I can tell. But Nora?
Thank you. One of the top problems.
No, wait, go back to talking about houses.
The high cost of health care.
You fucking idiots.
At the last presidential debate, former President Trump was asked about replacing the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, you found a loophole. Well, not everybody can find a loophole.
Of a plan.
And it's not like the guy who's going to build 50 houses is 50
ill Americans get health insurance. Can you explain how that
50
would work?
family members to build 50 houses?
Can you guarantee that Americans with pre-existing conditions won't pay more? I'll give you 2 minutes.
It's just basically saying you don't want loans to
Americans
exist.
with pre-existing
if we had loans,
fact,
everyone will get a house.
Family members have gotten health care.
No, select number of people will get a house.
Members of my family actually got private health insurance, at least for the first time.
I'm almost done with this game.
Medicaid onto private insurance for the first time
almost,
under Donald Trump's leadership. And I think that a lot of people have.
Wait, now I can transmute a benefit. Oh, I've been needing to do that for a while.
It's very simple common sense. I think it's Tim Walz knows from 12 years in Congress. You're not going to propose
ignoring super chats. I don't see any.
Standing on a debate stage.
Money to play Magic, you're bad at RPGs.
And it wouldn't actually mean anything because part of this is the give and take of bipartisan
Sorry,
negotiation.
Gene.
Now, when Donald Trump was president, and again, he has a record to be proud of, prescription drugs fell in 2018 for the first time in a very long time.
It will not crash the economy. There have always been fucking... When fucking Obama did cash for clunkers, did it crash the economy?
He introduced pricing transparency.
The government has little fucking economic incentives all the time.
Nobody knows what it actually costs.
What was that? Remember when they gave everybody like an economy stimulus check? Didn't Bush do that? Everybody went and bought a TV.
Drive down costs. And we talked about, the reinsurance.
Why are we pretending the government has never stimulated the economy before?
Said that if we allow states to experiment a little bit on how to cover both the chronically ill but the non-chronically ill, it's not just a plan. He actually implemented some of these regulations when he was president of the United States. And I think you can make a really good argument that it salvaged Obamacare, which was doing disastrously until Donald Trump came along. And I think this is an important point about President Trump. Of course, you don't have to agree with everything that President Trump has ever said or ever done, but when Obamacare was crushing under the weight of its own regulatory burden and healthcare costs, Donald Trump could have destroyed the program. Instead, he worked in a bipartisan way to ensure that Americans had access to affordable care. It's not perfect, of course, and there's so much more that we can do, but I think that Donald Trump has earned
I hope that the bubble bursts, man, because then I will buy a house.
It because he did it successfully the first time.
I did look at one on Zillow today,
All right,
but
here's where
the
being
other
an old guy gives you some history. I was there at the creation of the ACA. And the reason it was so important is I come from a major healthcare state, home of the Mayo Clinic, home to Medical Alley,
home of the mayonnaise clinic,
Medtronic, all of those. We understand healthcare. It's why we're ranked first on affordability. And
all that economy stimulation has bad effects. So I don't know, man. The American economy is doing pretty fucking good right now.
More people are covered than they have
Stock
before.
market's coming back.
This is critical to you. Now,
we'll
Donald
see. Maybe
Trump
it'll
all
crash.
of a sudden wants to go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one.
How do I get down there?
Repeal Obamacare. On day one, he tried to sign an executive order to repeal the ACA. He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA, but lost at the Supreme Court. And he would have repealed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill. Now, fast forward, what that means to you is you lose your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football.
We cashed out on 3 of our properties.
Your kids get kicked out when they're 26.
Good time to sell if you have a few. Why do you think I have some properties,
with
Kate?
Medicare. We have
I don't have any properties.
Drugs that will come online.
Fuck.
The most common ones that'll be there.
Cashed out on properties. Kate, give me a property.
When Donald Trump said, I've got a concept of a plan, it cracked me up as a 4th grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator Vance just explained might be worse than a concept, because what he explained is pre-Obamacare. And I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is, if you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They figure they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, you know, got cancer,
is it on the
you're
ground?
going to get kicked out of it.
Ground.
That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance the ACA.
Governor, thank you. Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now to protect people with pre-existing conditions. We want to keep those regulations in place, but we also want to make the health insurance marketplace function a little bit better. Now, what Governor Walz just said is actually not true. A lot of what happened, and the reason that Obamacare was crushing under its own weight, is that a lot of young and healthy people were leaving the exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem, and he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again, something that these guys do is they make
something
a
these
lot
guys
of claims
do
about if Donald Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president, inflation was low, take-home pay was high, and he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems. He
gets results.
Governor, did enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump administration?
It's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. And the question about this, of young people, whatever, that's the individual mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail, saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well,
this is the one area of Final Fantasy VII that's like interestingly designed.
I think
it's cool to like go around a corner and find a
enough to cover everyone. That's the only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses.
I don't know.
Pre-ACA.
I'm hoping house prices are coming down.
People know that they need to be on health care. People expect it to be there, and when we are able to make it, and
thanks, Kate.
It this way,
well,
when we incentivize people
you should be listening to my podcast. Biggest problem. We've been doing that every Friday, so that hasn't gone anywhere.
We make sure then
that's been my primary form of content. So check out Biggest Problem if you haven't listened to it yet.
I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70.
Variant.
So look, the ACA works. We can continue to do better. Kamala Harris did that. The way she made everything better was negotiating those 10 drugs on Medicare for the first time in American history.
Thank you, Margaret.
Can I address?
I need to set these all on fire. I'm pretty sure.
Subjects to discuss. Margaret,
let's talk about families in America.
Let's talk about families in America.
There is a child care crisis in this
Resistant
country,
to fire.
and the United States is one of the very few developed countries in the world without a national paid leave program for new parents.
National paid leave.
You said that if Democrats win both the White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
Come on.
Yeah. Well,
don't let it evolve. Don't let it evolve.
And that's what Congress worked. But here's what the deal is. Americans sitting out there right now, you may work for a big company.
You didn't know about Biggest Problem in the Universe? We're 150 episodes deep, Kate.
Kamala Harris knows that in California. Those
sure
companies provide paid family medical leave. One is, I think they're moral and they think it's a good thing, but it also keeps their employees healthy. We in Minnesota passed a paid family medical leave. You have a child, you And I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start. The family works better.
I don't want to get the child off. What's wrong with you?
In that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota.
Why are you talking about getting kids off?
That's how you become a pro-business state. But the negotiations on it, and here's the issue. Those big companies are able to offer it. Those of you out there who don't have it, just imagine what happens if you get cancer or your child gets sick. We know what happens. You end up staying home. In some cases, that means no paycheck because you've got no protection on that. This is the case of an economy that Donald Trump has set for the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those tax breaks to the wealthiest. He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the economy works best when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them.
I think I found the bird and I fucked it up. I got to go back to that bird.
You have to take it at both the supply and the demand
What's
side.
Up here?
You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take care of our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business.
Some of these mushrooms
and to make
are
sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal
you like the jiggling? You like seeing that jiggling?
And help with this.
I jiggle for you, baby.
Workforce, enhance our families,
I jiggle for you
all
day.
Have the children that you want.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, do you support a national paid leave program? And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay their employees?
I bet a chocobo will track down that chip in no time.
Yeah, well, first of all, Margaret, a number of
so you have to do these like missions. This is how you get like some of the better items in the game, though.
I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue. I mean, look, I speak from this very personally because I'm married to a beautiful woman who is an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids.
Oh my God, with the kids again, I get it.
Corporate litigator, and I'm so proud of her. But being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company. But the cultural pressure on young families and especially young women, I think makes it really hard for people to choose the family model they want. A lot of young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little time home with the kids. Some would like to spend longer at home with the kids.
I think every person on earth wants to stay home.
Possible. And I think this is a very important
I think if I pushed a kid out of me, I'd want to stay home as long as possible.
I mean, look, if you look at the federal programs that
why would you not want free money to stay at home with your kid?
Right now, the community
I just don't see how this is a big issue.
Another block grant program.
Nobody can afford to make a kid anyway. The people who can afford to make a kid
only go to one kind of child care.
Congratulations.
Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with child care. Maybe you live in a rural
area.
Oh,
I want my church.
And you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide child care in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these federal monies. We want to promote choice in how we deliver family care and how we promote child care because, look, it is unacceptable. And, you know, of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks.
It seems to have worked for quite a while.
One of the biggest complaints I hear from young families is people who feel like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
Senator, thank you. You have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents will spend nearly as much on child care as they do on housing each month.
Jeez.
So I want to get your thoughts on this. President Trump recently said, as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kinds of numbers we'll be taking in. Is President Trump committed to the $5,000 per child tax credit that you have described?
Yeah,
you have 1 minute.
Well, what President Trump said, Margaret, I just want to defend my running mate here a little bit, is that we're going to be taking in a lot of money by penalizing companies for shipping jobs overseas. Penalizing countries who employ slave laborers,
penalized.
ship their products back into our country and undercut the wages
Strength
of American
by 10,
workers.
max HP
it's the
by
heart
500.
of the Donald Trump economic plan.
Holy
Cut
Lord.
taxes for American workers and American families. Cut taxes for businesses that are hiring and building companies in the United States of America. but penalize companies and countries that are shipping jobs overseas. That's the heart of the economic proposal. And I think what President Trump is saying is that when we bring in this additional revenue with higher economic growth, we're going to be able to provide paid family leave, child care options that are viable and workable for a lot of American families.
Nice.
Can you clarify how that will solve the child care shortage?
Well, because as Tim said, a lot of child care shortages, we just don't have enough resources going into the multiple people who could be providing family care
Max
options.
MP by
and
6.
We're going to have to, unfortunately, look, we're going to have to spend more money. We're going to have to induce
we got to spend more money. No, I don't want to do that at all.
Because the reason it's so expensive right now is because you've got way too few people providing.
I wish you could organize these by like how powerful they actually
Governor
are.
Walz, your ticket also has some child care tax credit proposals. Do you think Congress will agree to the $6,000 credit for newborns and $3,000 credit for children over the age of 6, as your campaign has promised? Is that realistic?
Well, if these
I wish you could
members of
equip more
Congress
than one
are listening to
accessory.
anybody, I can tell you, and this is the biggest issue. Everybody listening tonight knows. I mean, I'm sure they were shocked to hear it's not that expensive. And let's be clear, whether it's $5,000 or $6,000, that pays you about 3 or 4 months. Let's be clear of where we're at on this.
This thing does not have a lot of
we got
defense.
out of an imbalance on this. We thought we were going to get by not paying people. I don't think Senator Vance and I are that far apart. I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. We've done scholarships types of things. I think we need to be open to making the case. But the issue here is, the question you asked is,
just gives you a lot of
you're not
magic.
going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking less. So not only do they not
this one
get the
says
money
grade
to
9,
pay for that, they're $4,000 in the hole. That's Wharton School. That's his alma mater. And so I think the issue here is, if those members of Congress, I can't believe they're not. When I go to businesses, sure, they'll talk about taxes sometime, but they will lead with child care and they will lead with housing, because we know the problem is, especially in a state like Minnesota, we need more workers because our economy's growing, but we need the workforce.
This is only grade 7.
Thank you. We need to move on. Nora?
Let's talk about the state of democracy.
Grade 10.
Issue for
A
Americans
mystical
after
bangle
the
that
economy
evokes the
and
balance.
inflation.
Oh, give that to the
After
girl.
the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results. Judges, including those appointed by President Trump and other Republican presidents, looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud. The governors of every state in the nation, Republicans and Democrats, certified the 2020 election results.
Tim Walz, why are you so wonderful?
Electors to Congress for
I gotta sell all
January
this
6th.
like crap.
Senator Vance, you have said you would not
Senator Vance,
have certified the
you have
last
said
presidential
you're
election
gay.
and
Would you like to
have asked the
comment?
states to submit
I didn't say I'm gay.
alternative electors. That has
You
been
sound
called
gay.
unconstitutional and illegal. Would you again seek to challenge
This game
this
looks boring
year's
as fuck.
election
I
results,
enjoy this game.
even if every
cozy.
governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020, and my own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th,
Walz has the
protesters
weirdest,
ought
like,
to protest
fucking
peacefully.
old man
And on
look.
January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president, Donald Trump left the White House, and now, of course, unfortunately,
Yeah, but if the election was stolen, I don't think you should move on. I feel like you need to talk about that forever.
I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country, but unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to talk about. It is the threat of censorship. It's Americans
make housing
casting
affordable.
aside
Yeah.
lifelong friendships
No, he's
because
not
of
gonna actually do
disagreements
that.
over politics. It's big technology companies silencing their fellow citizens, and it's Kamala Harris saying that rather than debate and persuade her fellow Americans, she'd like to censor people who engage in misinformation. I think that is a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years. Now, I'm really proud, especially given that I was raised by two lifelong blue-collar blue-collar Democrats to have the endorsement of Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong leaders in the Democratic coalition. And of course, they don't agree with me and Donald Trump on every issue. We don't have to agree on every issue, but we're united behind a basic American First Amendment principle that we ought to debate our differences. We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged in censorship
so these are
at an industrial scale. She did it during COVID. She's done it over a number of other issues, and that to me is a much bigger threat to democracy than what Donald Trump said when he said that protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
Governor?
Ooh. Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here, and I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. But
me too, man.
There's
me
one,
too, man. Cool shit, bro.
Because I think we need to tell the story.
Yeah, man.
Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this, and the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot.
We
and
should
let the
hang
boiling
out,
water go
bro.
up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he didn't. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day.
Ooh,
some with the American flag. Several later died. And it wasn't just in there. In Minnesota, a group gathered on the state Capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, we're marching to the governor's residence and there may be casualties. The only person there was my son and his dog, who was rushed out crying by state police. That issue, and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator, it was adjudicated over and over and over. I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is
I'll take one.
The idea that imprisoning your
thanks. Anything goes. Anything goes. So they have great tips.
Already laying the groundwork for people not
Walls
accepting
does look like a regional
and a
manager.
President's words matter. A president's words matter.
President's words matter.
So I think this issue
president
of
words
the
matter.
Box, shaking hands when we lose, being honest about it, but to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history
I'll buy some Porsches.
that a president or anyone tried to overturn
I got all this money. I don't even know what the fucking use
the
it
peaceful
on.
transfer of power. And here we are 4 years later in the same boat. I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
Tearing us apart.
Senator Vance, did you want to respond to that?
It's tearing us apart, Lisa.
First of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. Of course,
we're going to fucking shake hands, you fucking piece of shit. We are going to fucking shake hands. I'm going to shake your
wishes and he'll have my help whenever he wants it. But we have to remember that for years in this country, Democrats protested the results of elections. Hillary Clinton in 2016 said that Donald Trump had the election stolen by Vladimir Putin because the Russians bought like $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. This has been going on for a long time. And if we want to say
it's
that
not just that they bought ads, they set up fake groups.
I'm on board. But if
the Russian shit did happen, man.
That this is just a problem that Republicans have had.
How do I get over here?
Governor. January 6th was not Facebook ads. And I think a revisionist history on this. Look, I don't understand how we got to this point.
The amount of money they spent on ads is not relevant.
Donald Trump can do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop
Jan 6 was the biggest help to democracy because it reminded politicians to propose to people.
That's not censorship.
It was a big clusterfuck of confusing things.
I just think for everyone tonight, and I'm going to...
I mean, the bigger problem was Trump with the fake electors, man. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Don't do that.
And I think there's a lot of agreement. But this is one that we are miles apart.
You know what? I'm not going to re-legislate
it. Our democracy in a way that we had not seen.
Fake
and it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future.
Oh God, he won't even fucking answer. That's a weakness. That's a weakness. Did he lose the election? Tim, I'm not here to talk about it.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship.
It's an easy win. Just say yes. Trump lost the election. We're moving forward. What does it matter? That was a gimme.
You guys attack us.
That was a gimme, bro.
Democracy, the most sacred right under the United States.
That was a gimme.
Is the First Amendment.
You should have took that W.
There's no First Amendment right to misinformation.
Yeah, Trump lost the election. We're ready to move on.
The power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds. That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive
the amount spent is not relevant.
Moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans.
Well, because it's not a campaign finance
censorship.
issue.
Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's the Supreme Court test.
Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook.
The point is that there was Russian influence in the election. It doesn't matter if they spent money or not; they still influenced the election.
Of the government, which is the right of every American.
Senator, the governor does
which, you know, you can argue about whether or not it matters. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure we interfere with everybody's fucking.
What I do know is I see a candidate out there who refused.
We interfere with other nations' elections as well. So.
He lost the election.
But you just have to admit that the Russians did influence the election.
Anywhere
they wanted to.
Other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look.
Why does it look like I can just go here and be happy?
Made that decision to certify that election. That's why Mike Pence isn't.
How would that be a soundbite? Why does it even matter if J.D. Vance says, hey, I think he lost?
Firewall with Donald Trump.
It's fucking irrelevant at this point.
Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking you, America.
Okay, so I go through here, and then I go left.
Keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't.
Okay.
And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't think I would do that.
And then
because of course that's what we would do. So America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor that democracy and who's going to honor Donald Trump.
Governor, your time is
democracy.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I have no idea how do I get over here?
With both of our candidates, the CBS
I assume
News
I have to go through there.
Presidential debate continues.
Did I do a segment on fire in a theater? Because yes, you are allowed to technically yell fire in a theater. Good down. Even his VP picked sausage, he lost. Well, he said he's friends with school shooters. That was weird. I've become friends with school shooters. I don't see what the problem is. I think I gotta go through here. This looks like a trip. This area is actually interesting. You should have to, like, figure out where the fuck you're going. I'm friends with a lot of school shooters, and I've talked to so many school shooters, and they all tell me, Tim, thanks for being our vice president. I think I gotta hit this thing. It's gonna have me follow it. What the? What? Oh, you want me to use a mushroom? You want me to use a mushroom? I want you to use a cock-sucking mushroom now. It's time for the mushrooms. That's some nice NBC music they got. It's time for the fucking mushroom. Yeah, here. And every day I got a mushroom. Yeah. Most people don't understand that. That's why everybody online is like, that's a threat. And you're like, no, it's not legally. But it could make someone want to do something. A lot of shit could make somebody want to do something. Who cares? What do you mean? You can say a lot of fucked up shit. Vito Chan, gonna watch the debate. Ain't it good? Ain't it great? Gonna watch the debate right here on NBC now. Who's gonna win the game? Will it be you or me now? Welcome back, little guitar sound. And Sean Diddy Combs is going to jail because he raped a bunch of people. Sean Diddy Combs now. Sean Diddy Combs, circle, X, circle, circle, square, circle, circle, X, circle, circle, square, circle. Circle, X, circle, circle, square, circle now. And I'm analyzing the motherfucking crystals. Analyzing all the motherfucking crystals. And all the crystals. Everyone gotta get it now. Gotta find my crystal and make it what I wanna get in. Oh, all the fentanyl. Smoking all that fentanyl now. Why don't you tell me where you wanna be, where you wanna go now? Oh, why can't I buy a home? Price of healthcare is killing me. Won't you leave me alone? Tim Wiles, yeah. J.D. Vance. Two beautiful boys wanna take off their pants. I'm so tired now.
Kristen Welker hosts Meet the
Christine
Press
Welker.
every Sunday on NBC.
Every 90s song did sound like that.
How hard is it to see it like this?
On a wing on a Wednesday. On a what is that fucking song?
News for the generation.
And I don't want to eat a bag of gams. I think it's more Pearl Jam.
Vice presidential debate.
When it ends, join us right here.
Jeremy spoken class today. On a wing on a Wednesday.
Vice presidential debate. It is now time for the closing statement. Senator Vance won the virtual
what is all
coin
this
toss and
shit?
elected to go last.
The
So, Governor
virtual
Walz, you
coin
are first. You have 2
toss.
minutes.
Well, thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News.
Thank
and
you,
most importantly,
CBS News.
Thank you to all of you. If you're still up and the folks who miss Dancing with Our Stars, I appreciate it.
wing,
but look,
on a
the support of the
Wednesday.
democracy matters. It matters that you're here. And I'm as surprised as anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built. From Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift. And a whole bunch of folks.
Wow, he brought up Taylor Swift?
And they don't all agree on everything.
Why?
But they are truly optimistic people.
Bernie
they believe in a
Sanders.
positive future of this country and one where our politics can be better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just
sense
to get by,
of
but to get
optimism
ahead. And the idea
about
that
an
freedom really means
opportunity
something.
economy.
Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room,
with
but the freedom for you to
China.
make choices about yourself. Now, look, we all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said,
Terrible
believe him when he
singing.
told you
What are you
that.
talking
His
about?
first
My
inaugural
singing
address
is
talked about American
fantastic.
carnage, and then he spent 4 years trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand
Senator
with Donald Trump's
Vance
agenda.
will
He will
stand with
continue to
Trump.
push down that road. Excuse me. Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you, I'm going to be careful about the quotes, but there's one that Senator Vance said that does resonate with me.
He said, I'm
said,
going to rape
"Donald
your
Trump
children."
Makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way. We don't need to be afraid. Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward.
What does that even
She's
mean?
bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real
I wanna bring you a
solutions for the middle
politics of
class,
joy,
and
folks.
she's centering you at the heart of that. All the while asking everyone, join this movement, make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive.
On a
I humbly
wing,
ask
on
for
a
your vote on
Wednesday.
November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz, thank you.
Vote for
Senator
me or
Vance,
China will
closing
destroy
statement.
this
I wanna
country.
thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening.
I pitched
One of the issues
Dick.
we didn't talk about
I
was
pi-
energy.
I told
And I
Dick
remember
what song I want to
being raised by
record, and
my
he hasn't gotten
grandmother,
back to me, which
and
makes
she
me
didn't
think
have
he
enough
doesn't want to
money
do
to
it.
turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night, and because money was often very
For your
tight.
next mission, you'll
And
be
I
my
believe,
bodyguard.
as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or or poor ought to be able to turn on their heat
No matter how
in
much
the
I
middle of a
protest,
cold
this
winter
one
night.
never
That's gotten more
listens.
difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family. That's gotten harder.
I want a
because
meal
of
for
Kamala
my
Harris's
family.
policies. I believe that
I
whether
want a
you're rich or
meal for
poor,
my
you ought to be able to
fucking
afford to buy a
family.
house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl, and that too has gotten harder with Kamala because of Kamala Harris's
I don't
policies.
think most people are worried
Now,
about
I've been in
fentanyl. I feel like
politics long
fentanyl is
enough
like
to do what Kamala Harris does.
it's not like a
when she
it's not like a
stands before the
nation
American
issue,
people
you
and
know.
says that on day one,
You gotta
she's
worry
gonna
about
work
the
on all
fentanyl.
these challenges I just listed. She's been the vice
Gotta
president
worry
for
about
3.5
the
years.
fentanyl
Day one was
getting into
1,400
your
days ago, and her
community.
policies have made these
Here
problems
comes
worse.
the fentanyl
Now, I believe that we
again.
have the most beautiful country in the world. I meet
got
people
the
on the
most
campaign
beautiful
trail
country.
who can't afford food, but
People
have the
can't
grace
buy
and
food
generosity
in the
to ask me
country.
how I'm doing, and
I don't
tell me
believe
they're
any
praying for
American
my
can't
family.
afford
What
food.
that has
Look at
taught
us.
me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible people anywhere in the world.
Wow, he's really
But they're
going
not
Trump.
gonna be
We've
able
got
to
the best
achieve
country.
their full
The most
dreams
beautiful
with the broken
country.
leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able
But
to
it,
live
that
their
fucking
American dream
fentanyl's
if we
gonna
do
get
the
you,
same
buddy.
thing that we've been doing for the last 3.5 years. We need change.
That
We need a new
fentanyl
direction.
gets
We need
you.
a president who has already done this once before and did it well. Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance, thank you.
I'm rooting for you.
And thank you both
I'm
for
rooting for
participating
you.
in the only vice presidential debate of this election cycle.
Oh, she's
I'm
so
Dr.
proud. The only one. We got the only one at NBC, and no one else got it.
Please
You
get
fucking
out and
bitch.
vote. And for all of us here at CBS News, thank you.
And welcome to the only one. Other places wanted to have a debate, and we said, no, we're going to do it. It's going to be
and
us.
that's the end. Tim Walz, J.D. Vance squaring off for about 90 minutes in
Wow.
the heart of Midtown Manhattan.
Wow.
The CBS News
Wow.
studios as their families come out
Wow.
to greet them after what was really a quite civilized
Wow. Wait, what's,
debate.
let's see. Are
And
they
I think
gonna?
perhaps
Are they
one
gonna
of the
kiss?
headlines we'll talk about
Look,
was
he
the
wants
terms
give
of
him.
Indiana's
Oh, this is my
moderator,
wife.
Lester and Hallie Jackson.
She's
Our
hotter
senior
than your
Washington
wife.
Correspondent Lester here, still with me.
Your
in
wife.
New
Oh
York
man.
City. I really am struck. We had kind
JD
of like
is a much taller guy than
good
Walz, huh?
policy debate on the issues. Didn't get nasty.
Okay, good seeing ya.
Didn't get weird.
I'm gonna go play
you know,
magic cards.
They took their shots, but it was.
Fucking waste everybody's time. I didn't learn anything about anything. Nobody said nobody. They got it. It should be like fucking. They got to make these things like an Apple keynote, dude. Why is it never like during the debate you go, well, here's something you probably didn't know I was gonna say. Day one in office, everybody's getting a robot. And you go, oh, how's he gonna answer that? He can't. He can't answer it. They gotta start fucking making crazy little announcements in the middle of it. Nobody said anything. It was a waste of my time. What about the fentanyl? What about the Mexicans? Yeah, I know. Well, what about the fentanyl? What about the Mexicans? Yeah, okay. Tell me what you're gonna do! It all comes down to feelings. It's always like, it's just like, I want you to feel good about me. It's never like what you're actually gonna fucking do. Hey, you said Trump was Hitler. Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? I don't think he's Hitler now, so we're good. You said Trump was the American Hitler. That's pretty intense. Coke in the water fountain. Me Japanese, me no joke. Me put pee-pee in your Coke. Me go pee-pee in your Coke.
Be careful. Those guys mean business.
Propensity for mischief.
We can. Just try to hang on till then, okay?
Okay, lady. Mission 3. Eris, use fucking super burning. Actually, Cloud, wait. So one thing I didn't realize playing this game is that every one of you have to assess every single unit in the game, and that's the only way to get like 100% completion. Detonating fuel pack on their back will pressure them. Okay, I'll do that. Fuck you. Fuck you, Flame Man. You're dead. I hate you.
It's your turn. Let me
Bam. What the fuck? I'm confused. I'm coming. I'm coming, you guys. Me Chinese, me no joke. Me put pee-pee in your coke. And there's nothing you can do about it anymore. Why does everybody have their limit breaks active?
Let's do this. Keep it together.
Why is this bitch getting fucked? Oh, we're all getting paralyzed. I gotta find the videos of me playing the Final Fantasy Battle Royale game that they took down, because I had some good wins in that game. Complete the training exercise.
You're alive.
And none the worse for wear.
Yes.
This way. This way.
Rufus is a cool design. Rufus is one of the cooler Final Fantasy characters. It's too bad you only fight him like once. Yeah, I don't get a lot of viewers on Twitch. We're also watching on YouTube, so.
Heart of the company. He cannot be replaced. It is vital that we keep him from harm, even if it costs us our lives.
I like Vito Chan. I don't know why some people don't like her.
This facility will enter power saving mode.
This facility will enter power saving mode.
Proceed to the next location.
Good work, Cloud.
All right then.
Well, I could probably take a break here. Only 3 dots left to complete this whole area. 3 dots left. How long should she take to make? I don't know. I actually realized it's been like 4 years since I had this VTuber thing made. I streamed with one of those harmonicas. Where I've been? I don't fucking know. Been busy. Working on a million things. So there's 1 tower missing? Oh man. How did I miss this tower? Alright, last thing I'm gonna do is get that tower. I gotta be able to get that tower. Is Vito 1? Well, which one has the most viewers right now? I don't actually know. Let me see. Okay, so Vito 1 has. Alright, last thing I'm like 20 people watching. I gotta be able to get that tower. 18 people watching on Vito 1. YouTube.com/Vito2 has how many people watching? Nobody subscribes to my second channel. 16 people watching. Don't turn into a frog. Oh wait, where's that battle? I want to do that battle. Because now I can put White Cape on everybody. The Fansley has the most viewers. See, if I put White Cape on everybody, none of them will turn into a frog. White Cape. White Cape. Now I can't lose. Try to turn me into a frog now, morons. You can't. Why did AVGN fall off? Is he not making videos anymore? I can't remember the last AVGN video I watched. He's doing his monster movie
With so
thing.
many movies and TV series only available.
His stupid monster crap.
Rare Amphidex variant detected.
Let's go. I forget what are these guys weak to? Ice.
I'll show you what I can do.
Shut up, fucking lady. You can't turn me into a frog because I'm wearing the special cape. Oh, you can't put me to sleep, though. No, get out of there, Cloud. You're going to fall asleep. No, he's going to put you to sleep. Can you guys stop falling asleep? You idiots, wake up. Wait, why am I using fire? No! Kill him! There we go. Yeah, he still does Angry Video Game Nerd. Avy Jones a family guy and Jontron's a horror. Vito's all you got left. Oh, he's getting weak views? I don't know, man. I think the audience... He's been making the same videos for 10 years. What are you going to do? Deja Vu? He almost got 1 million views on that. What did he used to get? SimCity, he got 1.9 million. Clever, he got 1... I mean, I don't know, man. Getting 1 million views on a stupid video game video still seems pretty good. It's not a ton of money, though. It's weird. People think 1 million views is like a shit ton of money, and it's like, no. The sponsorship... Getting the sponsorship is what's good. That's where the money is. Because for a 1 million view video, you gotta be like, give me $5 grand or something for a sponsorship. Am I making a mistake going up this rope? I think I might be. I'm trying to get to this tower. Shuma tummy tum tummy tum. Chaka taka 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 taka. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going the right way. Come along on a magical adventure the world has never seen before. It's Final Fantasy VII, starring Cloud Stripe as a lovable mercenary who doesn't remember anything. Tifa Lockhart as the bartender with a heart of gold. Eris Gainsborough as the flower seller with a heart of gold. Barrett Wallace as the hard-nosed mercenary terrorist with a heart of gold.
I'll show you what I can do.
Kate Sith as the little cat man with a heart of gold.
Sorry about that. Checking out. No surprises there.
Yuffie, the ninja with a heart of gold. Yeah, people did like bored James. Look, man, James at this point is a dead inside. I don't know why anybody treats him like an actual human being. Dude's phoning it in. He has not had passion for what he does in years. Rob Schneider is Cloud, and he's about to find out being Cloud isn't what it's cracked up to be. I gotta go to Midgar? I can't really do a Rob Schneider impression. Rob Schneider is Cloud, and he's finding out being Cloud. I was watching that Inside Out too, because it's on Disney Plus now. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good little movie. Oh man, I only got 2 more dots on the map. What two dots are left? That one and killing the monster. All right, so the 2 big ones are left. Yeah, I don't think he has any passion for what he's doing. He needs to find... Dude, that Cinemassacre podcast was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That man is a weirdo. It's so weird. I completely missed out on the whole AVGN era. I did not watch any... I've never watched an AVGN video until, like, the last 5 years. I just, like... I was barely aware any of this shit existed. I just did not watch YouTube videos. I still don't watch YouTube videos. The only YouTube channels I watch anymore are like about how to invest in comic books. What's up, Greg Heads? Yeah, dude. I love that. I need more VFA merch. I have a picture of me outside the Victorville Theater before Tim burned it to the ground. All right. Well, I got 2 more dots to fill next time I play this game, but I almost 100%ed this area, and that's what matters. I can't believe I'm 75 hours deep into this idiotic game. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I trying to... I'm 75 hours deep, and I don't even have... I didn't realize there's some quests. See how some quests... Look. Let's see. One of them was like gray, like I did it wrong. Oh, yeah, see in the top left, it has like a gold star if I did it good. So what did I do wrong here? Bring the money to Dylan. Speak to Rhonda. I didn't get a gold star for this one. And this one I didn't get a gold star either because I gave the condor the wrong food. Okay. Does it matter? Am I going to not get a trophy because I didn't gold star all these fucking things? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You ever save the game and then you get like paranoid and you're like, let me make sure my save actually happened. Let me do a double save. Alright guys, thanks for coming by. Don't forget to, I don't know. Don't forget to come on by. We'll be streaming every Tuesday. We'll be streaming games at 6 o'clock on all the places. So make a bookmark it.